Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL semifinals of this year's Zwift Racing League. And these finals, though, we are jumping right on down into the downtown, or excuse me, the Titans. We're going to be out on Titans Grove. And I always forget, this one always gets me. Downtown Titans. Because it has this mixture of two or three different courses. And I'm like, wait,
it's a hybrid.
Titans Grove and it's downtown and we have a downtown somewhere else. Okay, here we go. Downtown Titans.
Is there a dolphin involved? Is there a dolphin anywhere? Right.
But this is a great course because it's really punchy. It comes at you really quickly. About 30 minutes, a little bit more than that of racing or so. I've gotten a lot of really, despite a lot of the technical issues and a couple of hiccups in the get going of these finals so far, a lot of the feedback though about how the racing is and how it's set up, as well as this whole new brackets format that has a tournament style that everybody ends up in a certain cup to fight for in the end. I've seen a lot of really good feedback in the background, actually. I just got done streaming my ride over on Twitch on my personal channel. And while I was climbing up over the mountain, plenty of people came and said, this was tons of fun. We absolutely love this. We're going into this cup or that cup, or this is where we qualified for. And just the fact that they have something to continue to fight for at the end of the season to kind of have this like bookend, I think gives this people like a plot, a story that they can tell for their racing in this series.
I agree. The crescendo of the season, right? And these racers just really love to race against each other. And this kind of adds to the stakes a little bit, a little more pressure. And I love, congratulations to Martin on another great season. This will be the 6th season that we're wrapping up for the WTRL inspired ZRL. And of course, all our friends at Zwift are really, really stoked to see just so many people out there racing and enjoying themselves. This format has been fantastic. So 2 more days of racing, obviously today/tonight. I guess we're getting to that point on the global, the sphere of the planet. And now we have to look forward to Saturday's racing as well. So really, in a lot of ways, you're deciding what tier you're going into. We talk about cups and plates and shields and bowls. Well, you're deciding what you're going to be racing for on Saturday. And I do like that we're on Saturday, which gives, again, the global format here, trying to give the best opportunity to race at a reasonable hour for as many athletes as possible. So that makes a ton of sense. I hate to see our friends in New Zealand or Dubai or wherever they might be behind the 8 ball, because no one likes to. Does anyone like to race at 3 a.m? I haven't met them yet.
I think there's one section. Barney was saying, oof, I don't know if I can make it, because there's one part of the world I think that does have 3 a.m, but we'll see what happens.
Somebody has to.
Somebody's got to. Rob Baines letting us know there are no dolphins, just so you know. And Brother Alfonso says, good night, Nathan and Dave. Have a good night there. BJ Alfonso, it's good to see you in the chat.
Hey,
let's jump right down into the replay of the start of this race, because our friend Anna Russell was off the front attacking right from the get-go in this women's race. They are out in the Titans Grove already, but it looks like, from what I can see, this team has come with a plan right from the get-go, and they're not messing around right from the get-go. This is a replay of just a couple of minutes ago. They're currently 6:21 in, so this was 4 minutes ago, and boom, before they even hit Titans Grove, Anna is like forcing Lieberman from ATP to pull 4.4 watts per kilogram on the front.
This is classic Anna Russell. This is classic Riot. So, we have to remember that Anna just coming off of making it into the finals of knockouts on Zwift. And here she is back again. So, again, we're looking at a replay right now. I'm going to be curious to see, Nathan, when you flash to live images, what it looks like, because obviously this is a plan. It's a little bit reminiscent of what they did, or reminding me of the spirit of Riot. I'll never forget that day in Richmond, on Richmond Reverse, where it looks like that group's whittled down a little bit.
This is 2 minutes later. 2 minutes later, Jen Reel did the same thing. Anna was caught. Jen Reel, 5-5 off the front as they hit into Titans Grove. Look at it. Riot has shown up with the Riot plan. They are just going.
So Riot.
They're just taking over and smashing things right from the get-go here. We go back to live images.
Cops. There's smoke bombs going off. There's people putting plywood up on their doors. It is a riot. So actually, you see now, so this is obviously going to be a spicy, spicy race, picante level, Nathan. No doubt about it. We're going into live images. It looks like now, as this is going to be. Did they bring Reel back in? So Jen Reel's had a very active spring. I don't know if anybody who's been racing more than Jen out of Texas. There, I'm going to guess that she just did Gravel Locos. We should send Nathan. I know it's just a crazy morning with all the internet issues on my end and everything going on, but. Between the spectrum in cycling, the joy and the absolute elation for Eritrea and Binyam Grimet winning the Giro d'Italia stage today. That's incredible. And then, speaking of Jen Reel in Texas, the loss of Mo Wilson on the other side of things. It's been just such an emotional week in the sport of cycling. So it's just amazing how our sport is just this opera, and we've certainly had a lot of drama lately. So back to the racing now, but certainly our thoughts are out there with a lot of friends in our cycling world, Nathan.
100%. Now we are heading into Titans Grove, Queen of the Mountain Reverse. As you see on the left-hand side, the table for the times jumps on in, but we're not going for necessarily the fastest time. Well, fastest through segment definitely doesn't matter.
Could be in this group. Yeah.
It could be 100%, but there is also first across the line points available on the day. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. Now, again, the scoring during the season does not matter here. It's all about this race and the next race, and qualifying to get through to the next race in the upper bracket will be, or at least toward the cup, is going to be the split between the top four versus, the half. They say the half. If there's 10, I think it's 5, and I have to get some more info on that, but I believe it's just the upper half.
Split it down the middle. Exactly. You know, I have to say, when I was in school, there was nothing I liked more than hearing the word clean slate. Everyone's starting fresh, right? And that's exactly what we're doing here. Clean slate for all of our riders. Anna Russell going to go back on the tack. So this time it's thinning things out. A little more to work with, a little more terrain, Nathan. As you can see, the gradient, 4-5% right now. Man, Riot is hitting hard, and here we go. Claire Cameron, the Canadian, is starting to move forward here. Megan Ratwell also up there. Rachel Lieberman's going to try to respond. Now, it is going to be very interesting. The points are coming up, and look at this. It's Christina Grossman going plaid right now, Nathan. Ooh la la. Riot and Fuego out here.
Riot goes 1, 2, 3, 4 across the line. OTR ends up with the next places behind that. Sisu Du were mixed up in there. Rachel Lieberman was around there as well. They have, talk about taking a textbook move there. They pulled Grossman perfectly up to the final 200 and then launched her. And then the way that they launched her also kept them with some speed. And bam, they just blew the entire race apart. Look behind them. Who's not even left? They're out around the corner, out of sight at this point.
Looks to me like we're going to have about a 15-rider group that's going to be the vanguard here, and I wouldn't expect that that group's going to be rejoined because Riot themselves will push the tempo here enough. So this is AB here from the ATP team. Now, she does have a teammate up in this group, Rachel Lieberman, and let's see now, AB, Ali B is the rider here. That gap looks small, but it's really huge, to tell you the truth, with the momentum in that front group. There's just enough riders, Nathan, that they should be able to avalanche and stay away. But we saw earlier today that group get welded back together in a somewhat similar scenario. Not obviously never you're going to have the same scenario play out twice in 2 races. And there was a bit of a top-heavy situation in that race where one team had a dominant presence in that front group. And I would say that the presence here from Riot, Nathan, it's about as dominant as it gets out here today, and they've swept the table of points there at the first opportunity. So Riot absolutely crushing it out here so far.
As you can see, 7 seconds up the road is going to be Bluski and the rest of this lead group right now. 13 riders, I believe it is. Maybe 12, actually, because Ali B did not make it from the ATP team.
She did not make it.
Did not make it. And it looks like there's a group of 3 chasing her down with Ramsey Sarah Bishop out here, who is the
Not a bad group
absolute
of three.
endurance monster. Yeah. On top of that, Annie Poland is here as well. Katrina Weiss on the
If any group
chase.
could make it, Nathan, if any group could make it back in, these four just might. There is a lot of talent on screen right now.
The fact
They're
that
trotting
the
up.
entirety of Riot made the front group, though. Well, no, sorry, Smith did not make it. Smith did not make it.
Okay, well, basically the entirety, though. I'm going to give you that one for sure. This Tyrannosaurus Rex wants to be on the Riot team. He's like, I can't beat him. I'll join him. I'll take a Riot jersey. But, Nathan, I would say right now, so when we go back to that front group, I truly hope that we don't see other teams taking pulls. Like, Rachel, get off the front, I would tell her if I was her director. You got to make Riot do all of the work right now to stay away. Don't give them any help here.
Yeah, and with Sarah Bishop behind, as well as CCR Race Like a Girl, ATP, the joining of these three riders to this front group would only help the other teams. There is no incentive whatsoever to be on the front of that pack, I would think.
I agree. So Cassandra Rush is here. You mentioned Blushki. We've talked about Molly Van Howling is in this group. I'm going to leave Riot riders out right now, just kind of figure out who else is here. ATP has a couple, Nathan. I believe, is it Foot? The other rider up here, Poland is Sisu Du here, Annie Poland.
I believe Poland actually is behind here.
Sorry. My bad.
All good. All good. Yeah,
so
Annie.
Actually, she's in that chase group at 11 or 12 seconds back. Claire Cameron is the dividing line there with Letty Ramsey, Bishop, Allie, and Ann Poland in that chase group. Is Katrina Weiss about to join them here?
About to join the chase group. And one rough thing about this is that there are two Riot members mixed in with them here. Now, who just came up to them here? Donith?
Jen Reel. And Jen Reel just rejoined this group too. Right. So Nathan, they are
a little bit of weight.
Contact.
A little bit of weight to work with Riot, because they're just going to sit in.
If you're Riot, you're having your cake, you're eating it too, and you're about to start in on our cake, Nathan, if you're Riot, because this team right now, if no one wants to pull and keep this group away, they say, great, we'll get the whole team up in a front group of 17 riders. That's 1/3 of the riders in this group are the Riot team, if they make this catch. How about Donith today? Sisu Du rider. This is a step forward for her.
Yeah, big job. And that was an amazing job coming back on terms. They're about to make the catch here, it looks like. Now, over on the men's side of things, we do have a little bit of a situation opening up. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that real quickly here as they're just heading into Titans Grove. Yeah, essentially. And off the front, we've got Timothy Brugg. Right on the wheel, we got Gumbel from Next Percent Riding Shore. Now, this is a replay. They're just a little ways up the roads from here, about 44 seconds up from what we're looking at right now. This was just about a minute ago. So these four riders on a full gas attack the moment that they do hit the bottom of the starting of the climbing into Titans Grove. They did get caught, though, but it does look like we've got a little bit of risk-taking like we've seen amongst the women.
Well, so, this race has Next in it. And that's always going to be a game changer. Tony Gumbel, one of the riders that I'm going to be watching for. Brad Greenberg, another. They have the Welsh rider, Marcus Duval, on this team. So no surprise, Timothy Rugg is a very aggressive racer. He's traveled the globe racing his bike, and looks like he's getting back into esports at this point. So you can see that it looks to me like everything's been brought back into the fold over on the men's side of things. Just one rider dangling off the front. Is that the women's group now is stabilized a little bit as well. They're coming up on the middle part of the course. The guys just really hitting the bottom part of the climb. Let's talk today, Nathan, quickly. Folks joining us, this is the first of 2 days of the finals of racing. It's a monster week for races. The Cup, the Plate, the Shield, the Bowl, that's all going to be sorted out here. Now, this is the America's Cup East 1 men that we're joining. Climbing does start at about, you're sort of gradually climbing all the way up to the first significant climb that I would say begins at 6K in. So the guys are just about to get there as we look at Travis Samuel here, the Frettori Wahulapul rider, just off the front for the men. And I do think the ladies now bracing themselves for the next volley here, the barrage that's going to be coming as they hit. The next climb for them really begins. It's perfectly flat for quite a while. I'd say almost 3K before at 16.5K the climbing begins. So I would expect, will stay together as a group for a few minutes here.
Yeah, on the men's side of things, 5 seconds. I mean, it may continue to go out a little bit. These downhills are going to hurt Samuel a little bit riding for WLC here, as you can see. The amount of power that's going to be thrown down in speeds over the top of this crazy, punchy, fast climb in just a moment in Titans Grove, I think are going to shut down that 6 seconds pretty quickly. He's going to have one of the most insane, long, drawn-out sprints to hold on to anything right here.
I have a feeling that this is for the points running. I think he might have enough in the tank here. He's not tapping on the gauge right now, talking about Travis Samuel for Wahoo Lacole. I think that this is, for the Canadian, Nathan, going to be a bid just to get those points, because if you look at the course, it's a long, steady downhill, which as a solo rider this is where, as a solo rider, you've got a fighting chance out there. It's down, though, to 3 seconds, so your call, it's going to be touch and go whether you can hold on, because they're going to surge back there, no question. In the peloton.
He almost has enough time here to perhaps rejoin if he backs off just a little bit, rejoin and then double an effort, but he's probably not going to be able to sprint for the win over the line of this FAL, but perhaps be able to hang on and not be in too much trouble for a few extra points. But I'm not sure that this was the best situation. At 182, this isn't necessarily fade climbing.
No, definitely not. They are going to catch him. That's the power of the peloton. Man, you look back, you see all those glowing Tron bikes here. And that's going to be it. It looks like we got, is that the Condor? Is it surging? It is. The Condors are now taking advantage of that massive wingspan, and we are full gas now, accelerated down on the floor, but it's going to be next, and that is going to be Tony Gumble coming for the points, and there are a lot of points here, Nathan. So next, going to try to open up their account. And that, I believe, is going to be Greenberg. Wow. So Brad Greenberg, monster effort. It is Jean-Pierre Durand, trying to come through, but it is next, picking up the top points.
Top points, as well as I think 2 in the top 5. So next, really showing up on this team points day. We did see OTR involved there, as well as Restart, grabbing a few points. The Condors were able to hang on. Coalition really off the back foot there, it looks like. Velocio not even close to involved. I'm seeing big names from Velocio Trail Mesh pretty far back in here. They're going to be in those Yellowtrons with the, Neon Yellowtron and Neon Kit here. Now, is this actually a Velocio kit? What? When did this happen? Dave?
This
have a kit.
This is from their ZRL Premier League team.
Amazing. I love it. I actually have not seen this kit yet.
Well, man, you combine that with the yellow Tron bike, and you got yourself a sick look. That was some nice teammate work there, I think, going back to the group to try to make sure your teammate can comfortably slide back in.
You see Brad Greenberg saying slow down after he took out the sprint.
His heart was in his throat. I'm surprised he could even type slow down, to tell you the truth. So, okay, yeah, Velocio Trail Mesh, man, do they look sharp out here, Nathan. I got to think Anna Russell, once she's cooled down, takes a look at this, and she's going to be giving it a big thumbs up. So, Yumeto is the rider here. Looks like he's still got his team time trial number up there, which I get. You know, if number 1 was your number, I'd just leave that too.
Yeah, 100%. Real quickly here, take a look over on the women's side of things. I thought this might happen. They were within 14 seconds last time we checked in. Look at this. As they are climbing out. And we saw this earlier in EMEA as well as in APAC. The pack almost gets back on terms. This might be just within striking distance, and then the climb starts, right?
100%, Nathan. And this is what's so frustrating about cycling is right now you just don't know if you're in that chase group. These are the points that we're looking at that have been earned so far today. And you can see Riot with nearly a clean sweep up there. But exactly the same scenario. As a matter of fact, I think that it went down to 3 seconds with similar size group. Actually, the front group was a little bit smaller in that EMEA race that we're referencing, but they just about got caught. But then I think it was a good point that there was a reason why they were in the front group. They were climbing better earlier in the race, and then they just hit out. And when they did, that was it. Ultimately, that was Vicky Nealon winning with Gabriela Schumann second, wasn't it, in that race?
It was taking a look here real quickly at the B category for anyone looking for updates on the current standings. Some of you are watching. We'll go across as fast as we possibly can for the finish of the Bs and the Cs if we can toward the end of the race. Current situation, as you can see, there are going to be the WTRL Dinos at the top with 32. Very close racing here. Crouch and Mary Blanc, 30. And then this is as close as you could get, Dave. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, and 4 all within 8 points. Insane racing in this B category.
Yeah, no doubt. If you love racing, this is such an ideal situation. So no one is going to find it easy. They're giving it like they get it out there in the B race. And that's a great level of racing, no doubt about it. It looks like this is the C's that we're looking at with a pretty similar situation. Well, Rave Beast Coast with a bit of a lead here, but it's certainly not a riot situation. Coalition Eclipse with 28, ATP Racing Swarm with 24, and then still right there in the hunt is ATP Racing Hive, and how do you not love the margaritas? So that's a good look at what's going on in the C's, and then the mighty, mighty D's.
Yeah, D category, 37-30, and then 22, 18, and 10. Well, actually spread out pretty far here, all the way across. Llama stayed there in 7th. Big shout out to Aaron. We letting us know that they exist. They don't only exist. They are stomping right now as the Llamas.
And I love Erin as an advocate for, all the racers with her. These women really lift each other up. No 100%. Doubt about it.
Claire Cameron now on the front, Dave.
She's crushing souls. Claire Cameron's the exact opposite. She's ruining people's day right now as they hit the bottom of this climb. So you can see, look at that, Nathan. I was using that term cross-pollination. Who could go from group to group out there, station to station, if you will. It's like trying to go from the orbiter to the space station. This is going to be
dropping Cassandra Rush. They're 203 beats per minute. I mean, this pace is bonkers.
That's insane. A heart rate over 200 is bananas. So let's see, because it's not over. Cassandra Rush has the heart of a lion. But look at those wattage numbers. Oh, my goodness. As Rachel Lieberman going ballistic right now. That looks like OTR striking back.
Bushki, she's going to take out Riot. Wow, I can't believe this. Perfect timing here coming from Blueski up and over the top there. Now Rathwell does take second. Looks like Van Houweling waiting for the right moment. She may have grabbed it there. Molly Van Houweling. Cameron, Russell was there as well. Lots of Riot jerseys here, Dave, but there was a little bit of a punch back from OTR, but not enough with the way that the front end is stacked with Riot right now.
Well, okay, for anybody who's just joining us in this world of and it is so much fun. I'm glad that you're finding out about esports. Riot have been, what's the best way to put this? Like UConn basketball in the women's sports. They have been the most dominant team. Nathan, I think it's fair if you really ran the numbers and looked through the 6 seasons. There's 2, 3 season editions of ZRL, WTRL. This team has won the most. They've got the most points. I think in just about every statistical category, Riot would be the top team, men or women. Next, sure, they've been awesome. Velocio, awesome, but they've only been doing it for about half of the time that Riot has. Hino might be the only team, and I'm not sure what's happening with Hino right now. I'm seeing some of their riders maybe guest riding is my guess, and Hino just waiting in the wings to reappear once the top level Zwift racing returns.
Now, as we do see Riot with 4 riders at the front here, Dave, I mean,
they're pretty good.
They're in a very commanding position as we look at the points as they're coming through as well. I mean, I'm not sure that we're going to have any kind. I mean, where's the hope here at this point? Because the reality is 111, 40, and 25. I think the reality is just going through to the next. I
was just going to say, there's your hope. Now, so you have to make the top 50%. And at some point, I've used that well-known phrase: "You don't have to be faster than the bear; you just have to be faster than your friend." because the Riot being the bear in this situation, you don't need to beat them to move into the top level of racing, but you do need to make sure that you're beating the Fear Nothings or the Sisu Doos or the ATP Racing Stingers, these teams that are on the bubble here, because on the Rivet Cinderellas and even ATP, they're looking pretty good for making the first selection here in the finals that we've got for ZRL. This is the racing semifinals. It's our first of 2 points races that will have America's Cup Women's Edition, the East. So, I mean, there's 14,000 racers in the entirety, something like that, Nathan. So you can see how we've broken things down and getting racing underway all day today, for sure. I don't think any team's quite done what Riot has done up to this point.
Crush it. Cassandra Rush trying to get back. She's kept it within 6 seconds, Dave, even with this downhill. Wow. What a fight coming in here, coming from Cassandra Rush. Now it does look like Foot here now trying to come across as well. Annie Poland alongside. They have also kept it within this 20-second marker. I mean, they
still might rejoin if it gets tactical.
What a fight here coming in from them. They've been so consistent. Whereas we've seen these fights at the front, but the fights at the front, it's been like chill out, back off. They can reserve a lot of energy. This has just been nothing but really high power outputs and high speed all the way through, and trying to make sure the catch is happening. So rather than kind of being in command and in control and within yourself, being in these groups is more like FTP, over the top, always kind of on the rivet, literally OTR, as they're looking to chase these on the front.
They're going to make this catch if they can just stay motivated here, and it looks like that's the case. It almost looks like a team time trial effort, doesn't it here, Nathan, as different riders sharing the workload. The gap it's staying right there, but we'll keep an eye on that for you here as they're moving into the final of today's race here. There's a couple little bumps, but they're only little pimples on the course. No more mountains, that's for sure. We're going to go back in, though. The Condors, they're the 5K heroes out here today. This team has been tremendously aggressive. The Condors have been coming on strong. Wahoo Lacole's Timothy Rugg, who is the early animator here, also is back at it in the second barrage, second attack. Now, this is the vanguard, the Tête de la Course, 2 riders together here as they're just past the midpoint. Nathan, we're calling it 26K plus a little bit out there today, the total distance.
Yeah, a little bit past where the expected extra spot would have been. A little bit extra here. Timothy Rugg now again off the front with the Condors and on the attack. 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Let's see what kind of close down of this gap is launched from the pack behind. Sometimes you do see orange numbers popping in order to go to a cross rather than pull that group, but it looks like they are comfortable just to allow these two to dangle off front and trusting that it's not going to go much of anywhere. We do see, though, a little bit of a punch there from next percent by insured. That's just going to cover McCarthy's move, it looks like, and just keep the pace high enough. 5 seconds at 5 watts per kilogram, not going to be enough, and they're going to be really using a ton of energy here. This needs to go out a little bit further. Now, if this group does, now again, look, next, controlling the front, making sure the pace is high enough, and keeping it within striking distance.
They do have the climb to look forward to as well. And when you're in a group like this, it'll launch a few riders. I'd expect that they'll split this group on the next climb, Nathan. That's the guys that we're talking about. Not going to be long now until this one looks pretty good for Christina Grossman, I must say. She's been one of the lead sprinters in esports, and here's a good example.
Speaking of, there she goes, opening it up here, Dave. 10 watts per kilogram. Is she going to hold on? This is going to be the question. Is she going to hold Anna Russell, her teammate, on the wheel almost? And then 1, 2, 3. It's going to be Grossman, Cameron, Russell. Woo!
Let's note improvement out here in esports. And have you noticed that Christina Grossman is timing these sprints much better today?
I'd agree with that. I would totally agree with that. She has really been on point, it looks like, and has been putting some work in.
Yeah, I have a feeling probably working with her coach, Josh Lipka, and getting that figured out, because that was outstanding. She had the perfect sprint there. For a bonus sprint, that was 100%.
Yeah, speaking of, we do have, I can confirm he's most likely been coaching her because he's hanging out in the chat. and saying that she's number one for MVP here. Great to see. Also mentioning
I wouldn't argue.
and had a little conversation this past week with none other than Elizabeth Van Houweling, who is number one Zwift ranking in Zwift Power right now, as well as number one American in the World Championships. So great to see Liz hanging out, and a great little podcast that'll be coming out from Z Communique recently that we had a nice conversation about all things worlds, as well as what's going on with Zwift recently. So great to see you hanging out in the chat, Liz, and cheering on the teams.
I'm a huge fan of Liz Van Houweling, Molly Van Houweling as well. There's not a Van Houweling that I don't love. But two great ambassadors for sport, and in particular women's sport, and very bright athletes as well.
Will Rugg do this? Will Rugg pull this off? This is going to be amazing if he does, because this has been like he went
right there.
Hold off for the 3 seconds, but there's going to be nothing but orange numbers popping here in just a moment. He still has something left in the tank. This is all in for an FAL. It could be all for nothing, though. They're going to come charging in just a second. It's going to be right to the line.
Yeah, well, I've seen this climb about a zillion times, to tell you the truth, because we use it on our Zwift World Tours. And it flattens out here after this little last kicker. He's going to get it.
I think he's going to do it.
He's
move.
really strong, really strong. Timothy Rugg has got old.
That's metal.
I
mean, that is some, like, serious mental fortitude to just grind that out off the front and go by yourself after you're with a rider who goes back to the pack. You've got to have a lot of heart to do that, Dave.
It's almost like a deep sea diver coming up for oxygen, right? He knew where the line was. He knew exactly where he could take a breath, and he couldn't have dug any deeper. Let's watch. He's lucky that this group is strung out like this. It'll give him more of a chance to hold the wheels and get a little time to recover after a monster effort. How is he not our 5K hero, Nathan,
right?
When you look at what I mean, that guy's been unbelievable today.
Absolutely amazing. OTR coming across here, just getting back on terms. This is not something you let go. They're not really slowing down up there. You can see that pack kind of moving away. VCRT are in this in between. They're going to make it, but they got to go now. They can't trust that this is going to come back though. That gap can go. We've seen it time and time again. They're getting enough riders, but there it is. Another jump. Mount recognizes it, because if anybody pushes the pace in the front and they're not right on right now, it could be game over.
Yeah, this is a great example, Nathan, of there is no long-term plan for closing this gap. You've got to do it now, and you've got to do it with full force. And that's bike racing for you. If you get caught on the back end of a split and you're going into a descent, in particular on Zwift, you've got to act now. And they did. They worked hard. They're going to get back in. Good for them. Bravo, guys. Great racing there. Sometimes you get caught on your back foot. You got to step up, and they did exactly that at the same moment. It looks like we've got attacks going off. Well, maybe not quite an attack, but a surge, I would call it right now. But we're going to jump back in and show you that the women are coming up on 25K in, so not that far until they've got the red kite, La Flamme Rouge here. Let's call that here the next couple 100 meters. This group will engage. We are now locked and loaded. This is not a drill. Big-time bike racing back here on Zwift. And Nathan, that's Molly Van Houweling moving up to the front there. Riot with 1, 2, 3, it looks like 4 riders left. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But OTR, Riot ready to throw down. I'd watch out for a late race attack coming from Rachel Lieberman. Back to you, Nathan.
Look at how the pack dynamics. Did you see that just now? I almost want to show a replay of that. This is how realistic
shuffled.
These new dynamics are. I absolutely
cool.
love what Zwift have done with this, because
this is perfect.
Did you think we're totally fighting for position there just a moment ago and trying to figure out who was going to have what wheel where? Real quickly here, I'm just going to bring this back in.
Watch the lead out now for Grossman, because that's what they're setting up.
Right there. You see that there, Dave? On the right-hand side, boom, boom, trying to find position. Now back in, though, live. You're right. There it is, the lead out. Rathwell, Cameron, Russell, and Grossman, I think, is just sitting in while these three push the pace, and she's waiting for her pounce.
Well, they're setting a trap, it looks like, right now, trying to get the other teams to go too early. Here they go. So it is Grossman now starting to move up. We're going to dig in. This is nice. Cassandra Rush, Lauren Babineau is there. Blushki's been phenomenal. Blushki's been unreal. Are they going to get the better here?
That was a lot of points, Dave.
Wow.
That was a lot of points.
So, hey. It's not over, and, most importantly, the teams advance into the top group for Saturday. But Riot got a little taste of their own medicine there.
That was impressive by
OTR.
Impressive. Waiting for the right moment.
Best moments, of the season. That was OTR's moment. I don't want to soft sell that. That was massive in that situation, that scenario, to pull that off. You got it. That raises some eyebrows. Guys here at 20.8K. And Nathan, don't you think OTR's got to be chuffed? That was a real great performance.
Yeah, I mean, the way that they timed that was absolute perfection, to be honest. I mean, with what they were up against there, and to take down that many points in the end, I'm going to wait and see.
Hey, listen, anybody can stumble. Cycling is hard. Racing is really, really tough. And to be honest, Riot just didn't get their lead out together correctly.
Well, going into the finish, it was 191. So they're going to need a massive jump.
Well, there's not enough points. To be honest,
yeah.
I mean, Riot's going to win the day still, but it still has to sting. They wanted to win that race. That they thrive on winning. Everybody does, right?
You hearing the mariachi band? I just heard a mariachi band. I swear.
Not in Fort Collins.
No, but they were hanging out at the Italian Village, I believe. I swear, I just heard a mariachi band. There's been, just so everybody knows, there's been a huge amount of developmental work on the audio in game, and so it is a big upgrade. It's part of why there's a new Easter egg up on the radio tower. Just went and listened to it actually from Simon.
That's really cool.
It's so cool, but that's something they have been working on. And as they do get a little bit of sprint here, maybe down the road, we'll start hearing them cheering with bells for this kind of a situation as boom, right on through. It's going to be Duran for WLC taking down the main points. Duval was right there from next, presented by Ensure. It's going to be OTR as well.
Did it turn out that's a Mexican villa all along? We thought it was Italy for 6-7 years.
It sounded like a mariachi band, didn't it?
Yeah.
I swear it did.
Mariachi would not be in Italy, so maybe we're going to have some crazy.
Well, maybe there's something else going on there. I mean, what other kind of band? See, I just threw what came to my mind out there.
Well,
but
you know what?
What's the Italian? What's the Italian?
Well, they would sort of have a brass band vibe for sure. So they're going to easily. I mean, there is an Italian, quasi equivalent of a mariachi band. So no, without any
doubt.
Help
us out, chat. Let us know.
Get ready for a lot of Italian guys with instrument pictures coming at you.
Coming at me. Oh, boy.
Don't at me. Yeah, all right. So Zavislan, the next rider. So I saw they've got Charles McCarthy, one of the all-time cool guys. It's pouring. Just cats and dogs out there right now as Zavislan is, let's call it 3.2K from the finish. This is a nasty one. Nasty attack. You can see his teammates are sitting up near the front, ready for the chase. The Condors, I think they're going to take this one up. VCRT and the Condos, so the Chileans and the Australians. The Southern Hemisphere needs to respond. Regulators, mount up. We're down to 3K to go. Tron bikes good in the rain, Nathan?
They're good in everything. No matter what it is. Everything. Even in a video game. Take the Tron bike. For sure.
Always. Yep. Always go Tron. That's going to be what on my my book title.
Always go Tron. That's a great book. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, what did you just do, Dave? I mean, seriously, that is like the memoirs of Zwift racing. Always go Tron. Dave, you literally just wrote a book title live right here. Mark this one right now.
Hey, team. So, hey, we do have an amazing social team for Zwift, that's for sure. But hey, Nathan, Zavislan here. It's going to be fun to watch this one. What I think he's doing is truly setting up his teammates for the best possible chance for a next win out here. If he can hold on, wow, he's going to need some wind in his sails here because this is such a strong group. But How about his teammates now loving his effort because even if he's caught, he's done them a solid.
Check out on the women's side as well. Just want to really quickly highlight that we do have the C category. The B's had already finished before we could get over there, but this is going to be the C category finish for the women as they turn the corner here. 500 meters to go, and here we go. This is going to be the sprint. ATP is all over this.
Yeah, they sure are. And that's one of the things I love about these teams that race in all of the different categories as well. I'm looking at you, Aeonian. All right, so Coalition too. So Hop is up there. We're looking at okay, they've got about the sprint begins. Here we go, Nathan. This is the final chapter. ATP is going to lead this out with Kier.
Here, B. Ray, followed up by Vicky from the Margaritas. Hop is there from the Coalition, but it is ATP story all day long at the front. Margarita is going to take out that third place, followed up by a whole lot of more Margaritas. Does look like Rave, Beast Coast, and the Cherry Bombs were involved as well. So solid kicks all around.
You should not have more than 3 Margaritas
in one front group. In like one front group?
Well, that's what the other team. That should be their rule. We're going to go back in. It looks like with the.
They wrote the rule. They wrote the rule. No more than 3 margaritas here, guys. Don't bring any more than 3 to this table.
It's funny. There's a place where I live called the Rio Grande that is their rule, and I saw there's a bike race coming up this weekend called the Rule of 3. I wonder if that's what it's about. But anyways, Zavaslan Nathan, he's going to do it. All right, this is.
I can't believe they let him do this.
Well, they didn't want to give Next a chase back up, so they opted for this. Devil, you know what I'm saying? Devil you know or devil you don't. Either way.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that one. All of a sudden, the devil was here, and I was like,
anytime I get on religion, people cringe. Yeah. But that is a common phrase, the devil you know, the devil you don't.
We actually had a discussion a little bit. We brought up Hinduism and a few other things over the weekend at ALZ. We touched all of them. Yeah, we had lots of depth. Make sure to head on to an ALZ ride someday, and you'll know all about what we're talking about. Man. All right, so this is the situation coming in. They're going to grab the final points here for first place. Next presented by Ensure. I think they've just done it here.
That should be enough. With those points for first. Looks like Next again, though.
Is he going to hold on?
Obviously, Pride.
He just does it. He just does it. It's not going to be his teammate Taylor, I think, followed by Next MSL. I mean, Next is all over the front here. I think they took the top 3 or 4.
That's done.
Yeah,
even I can do that math. I don't have to be Martin to figure that one out. So,
you don't have to be Martin. In with the women's D category. Here they go, and we've got a breakaway rider right now. This is going to be Megan from the Dinos Velocity.
What a machine. So this is Megan Cross? No, I'm sorry. I apologize. I want to get this right.
D category,
and I'm jumping in.
Megan Mouser.
Okay. I love it. The D's just, man, they've had quite a season. This is a big group. WTRL's got a couple squads in here. There's the Dinos, the Veloci edition, the Triceras, which are Triceratops. You know that one, right? The one with the horns.
That was my favorite one. When I was a kid,
that
was my favorite dinosaur.
I like Stegosaurus.
Because look, the Triceratops, because that one could defend himself and he could take out anybody if he really wanted to.
And I thought it was a lot like a rhino, like a rhinoceros, right? Like kind of had that vibe. Tough. Low to the ground. So I'm not going to say that that's Megan, but man, she's a velociraptor, which are fast, small. I think that they just found a velociraptor.
If somebody tuned in to this and didn't know, what the heck? She's a velociraptor.
Is this? Yeah. Well,
she's a velociraptor. Like in the way you said it, Dave, as if it's like a reality. She's a velociraptor. Oh, it's great.
So
absolutely great.
The funny thing is, I'm correct because that's her team.
100%. You are 100% correct. That is her team. That just sounded, the way it was said was like, it's almost like if someone just showed up to the broadcast and then you said, well, she's a velociraptor. Like,
so I know this is going to sound very defensive, but my point was that she's not a triceratops. Okay.
Oh,
that's what I was.
Okay. Gotcha. Completely get it now.
Yeah.
I was missing the point. I totally missed the point.
Yeah.
Totally missed the point.
Stick with me. It's high-level commentary here, Nathan.
It is. It's way over my head that she is actually a velociraptor and not a triceratops. Now I understand.
I think as a father, you'd probably agree that nobody knows more about dinosaurs than a 6-year-old, right? I mean, that's basically, yeah. That's there. So into the action, though, she's got a help. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming she's got a nice advantage out here. It looks to me like 15 seconds.
Yeah, 15 seconds here. We can go ahead and take a look at the points real quick here, Dave, just to get an idea of where things are at and how. This is a big deal for her team, actually. At that 56, Rave Party 60, and then ATP Racing Bumblebees at 84. This breakaway.
Taking the race back. Yeah.
Yeah, really, she could. There is a pretty good stack up of ATP behind her, but it is going to maybe give her that second place. Her to Bodacious Bobcats are right on the heels, too, so this gives them some wiggle room.
What it does is ensures that they advance into the top group on the table on Saturday, for sure. If she can get the win, that gives them the points that they won't be in the second half of this. You know who I'm really pulling for is La Muste here. They got to fight. Come on, ladies. They got the Blazing Bobcats, who are ridiculously talented, trying to move up. And I think that that fifth spot is going to be the bubble. They've got the Bodacious Bobcats up the road. If they can stack up some points, they can move themselves way up this table. So there's a lot in play right now for our D women, and they're down to it, Nathan. This is the grand finale of race 1 of 2 of the D Women America's Cup. This is a no-doubt win here. Good job, Megan. Very, very impressive for WTRL. That's the World Tactical Racing League, the Dinos, and she's on the Veloci edition. That's pretty cool how Velociraptor has the Velo, which that's a velocipede bicycle in Russian or French or whatever language, most of the world. So this is going to be now an exclamation point win, and that definitely moves her team into the top group for Saturday. I keep saying next Saturday. It's this Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday is when that's going to be going down.
I guess that's next Saturday, too. That's very confusing in the English language how we do that, right?
Yeah, it is. It is really. That is true. We are confusing. We are confused language people.
We are confusing people. Yes, we are.
We are confusing language people.
So I'm going to say this is
I'm going to leave that alone. I'm trying to learn other languages right now, and I'm like, well, there's all kinds of confusion across the board. All languages do things kind of weird. But back in with the C category for the men, the Bs had already finished. We will take a look. We tried to get there as quick as we could, but there isn't a quick selector. We're working on getting a quick selector for us, though, but not just yet. But we were able to jump on over to... Why do we have these, crazy lights?
Light orbs.
Yeah, they keep happening, too, but they're blue as it gets dark. I think it's the moon. I think we're whenever I go to 8 right now, I end up in the moon or in the sun. So when it's dark out, it's blue. When it's light out, it's yellow. So that's a thing right now.
I'll tell you what, when I first started Zwifting, there were these floating, fireflies out on sand and sequoias, that would, orbs, little green lights that were floating. And I could never I still don't know what they were. I think that Zwift likes to keep you curious. You know what I mean? You don't get answers to everything. Much like the mariachi band, we don't know really what's happening there, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
We're not 100% up to speed on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's actually true. That's not just a joke. It's there is a little bit of a desire to keep things not totally
curious,
obvious.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what some of it
I don't want to be curious about, how much draft I'm getting. But Philippe here off the front from Portugal.
I'm curious if Philippe's going to get caught.
Is he going to do it? No, he's caught. Marston's coming through. Rhino doing what rhinos do. This is the cousin of those Triceratops. Making it happen. Rhino and ATP going to have to settle for the third and maybe fourth, but I think WTRL were able to grab that. We'll take a look at the results in just a moment.
these are our C's that we're jumping in with now for the men. So this is one of the secret sauce elements of WTRL is the inclusiveness across the board in every category. But one of those categories of inclusiveness, Nathan, is ability level. And the D racers, man, they might have the best time of everybody. To tell you the truth, they know how to party.
Andrew Smith is partying. Look at this guy. Where are you? Where is he? He's in 50th place. And
Top 50 party.
Top 50 party. Oh my gosh.
Tell you what, you know what the real victory is, Nathan?
Here we go. To the front.
Say,
let's find the front
we
of
have
this
a
race.
second. Yeah, we had a wonderful weekend with the Alzheimer's Association in D.C. And one thing that you really realize is folks ride bikes at all different speeds, but it takes a lot of courage to show up, kit up, and go out with the group. And doing this takes a lot of courage as well. So everybody that takes the start has my admiration, without any doubt. Good for you. If you don't take risks in life, if you don't put yourself out there, you're never really going to grow. And you folks have been absolutely killing it. So looks like Nathan in the D's. Did you say this is a front group that we've got now, or is there one?
This is the front group. This is the front group, and we have, I believe, 4, maybe 5 off the back. I think 4. No, 4 riders, and there is a gap of 16 seconds to a solo chaser, and then Huck is there as well, right behind him. But I think these 4 are gone.
Huck is a really cool name. So these guys, Fournier here, they should stay away if they can just keep some momentum. If they start cat and mousing, I don't know what you call cat and mouse when there's 4. Cat, mouse, and cricket. Yeah, I don't know. But it's a little tricky now with 4 riders, 2 on the same team, right? 2 herd riders, I believe we've got. So really, this is where I saw in World Tour racing, if you've got 2 riders in a group of 4, when you go back to the team bus, if you don't win, you're going to be taking a hiding from everybody. So they should crack the code here. I mean, obviously, bike racing 101, you attack with the rider who's not your best sprinter, Nathan, but that's so straight ahead. A lot of times in esports racing, it does at this point become the strongest man or woman will win.
Yeah, the more you whittle it down, obviously the less snowball effect that you have when it comes to a larger pack. Now, we got 2 herd teams involved here. One that's up by a solid 47 points over Dirty Watts Underrated. And then Herd of Plowing Persians are there, tied with Dirty Watts Underrated in this DCAT. It is split down the middle. We did just have a reset of the points as we're getting ready for the finish. That was the situation just a moment ago, but we'll have to wait for the points to update here in just a second to get an idea again. But 4 off the front now, and it looks like these boys are going to stay away.
Yeah, they should have a chance. It looks like they're going to take this straight up. There's that orb. All right, so
the
we've
orb,
got.
I don't know. Let me see if you really want to see the orb, but I mean, it's definitely a thing.
It's a new feature that's probably not going to hang around for too long. So we're going to be looking at. I don't know, Nathan, but I don't see how anyone at this point avoids this being a 4-rider kick.
Yeah, I think
they're just
going to be looking at each other and waiting for the pounce. The question is...
Showdown at Downtown Titans.
What kind of pounce is going to be in the legs is going to be the question, I think. And looking at the power curves on these boys, well, we're not going to be able to look at the power curves on these boys because I think Zwift Power is struggling just a little bit. But
I just got a none of your business from Zwift Power, which happens every now and then. Yeah.
Pretty much. That's what...
I won't take it personally. I'm not going to take it personally. But you know what I do like? That's situation.
Rachel Huck. This is a mixed category, and Rachel Huck is hanging out in that, I believe, around group. 6th place or so. Oh, great to see 7th place with this group here. Nice job, Rachel. Level 28
good job,
Zwifter.
Rachel. Cool glasses, looking pretty stylish.
Mountain biker, it looks like.
Nervous
for her Zwift Power profile, as well as does some gravel racing.
I wonder if she's any relation to Erin Huck, one of the best female American mountain bike professionals.
Yeah, that's the first name that came to mind.
Not a bad guess, right? Yeah. And if she's a woman racing with the guys, that's always a high level and a good sign of someone who's taken their craft seriously. And
Oh,
I've never met anyone else named Huck in my life, and I've lived for 57 years.
good point as well. I don't know
Yep.
a lot of Hucks either. Maybe she'll let us know.
We'll
From the
find out. We
Missouri?
do.
Missouri?
Remember how long it took me to get to the bottom of the Van Howling situation, right? But we cracked the code on that.
It was talked about in the podcast this past week as well.
Was it?
Yeah, in real life was what Liz was saying. They've never ridden together
But
in
I'm
real
right.
life.
They're sister-in-laws.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Right.
Shelly,
Okay.
now making a move. It's going to be D. Shelly, followed up by Skidum.
Here we
It's going to be Dirt with 11 watts per kilogram. The underrated are not being underrated right now because they are showing us they got the goods and they are going to beat out the undiscovered.
That's that.
Fournier. And then we've got AJ's just going to kind of roll it in, it looks like. Not super interested. But Huck, what's she going to do against the boys? Is it going to be a solid little kick here for Huck? No, it looks like Herd is going to stampede over the top, and I have a feeling she may have to settle right to the line. Underrated. Gonna maybe nip her, I think, just at the line there.
I see what you did there. Herd stampeding. I just wrote that down. I'm going to steal that. So, all right. Romanowski of the Zed Sunbums is the rider that we're with. This is where the Dave Towle Lemonade Stand has a franchise opportunity for you. Selling cold lemonade. Actually, what would be maybe handing out, boy, I'm trying to think what you'd want in that situation as we look at the riders all finishing up a big day. First day of racing here, our semifinals for the America's East. That leaves America's West as the last zone, Nathan, coming up in an hour.
Yeah, I don't, good question.
Are we going to be?
What are we going to sell on the side of the road there?
I was thinking lemonade, but what would be the most popular thing with cyclists at that point? Like probably, sadly, protein shakes, like powered, like for the
iced coffee but
That'd be nice.
Make it any way you want. Maybe.
Well, I hate to say it, and I know it's a family show, but a cold beer for a lot of athletes.
Yeah,
would be pretty popular.
There is that.
That would definitely.
Yeah,
I'd say about 50%.
The other thing I would sell is like little. What are those little things that keep your beer cold or your drink cold? What are those? I would sell koozies, but they would all be branded with the team's logos and brands. That's what I'd be selling.
Even like a lemon flavored sparkling water to me would be extremely good.
Yeah, wouldn't be bad.
So I don't know. We could have options for you. So. There's an app for that, Nathan. We could
real.
Get an app.
I hope it's not stuck at a toll booth. So okay, Dave. I just wanted to highlight something that we didn't get to in EMEA, and I was really sad that we weren't able to. That this is
what a day.
It was, and I just need to. Evo Shop contacted me, and they did a really big, awesome thing in game today, and. During this past week, they actually lost one of their team members in real life. Oh, no. And the entirety of their EMEA South Division B2 rode the first 2 kilometers in a neutral in remembrance of one of this team Netherlands team members, actually. I got the message and I wanted to make this happen and actually show it on the stream earlier, but the opportunity was lost because of some tech issues. And I wanted to fulfill on hey, I'll make sure that we say something during the broadcast, So we definitely want to give a huge shout out to Karsten Neus, who is the chief of Team NL, that was actually friends with the man who passed away, and his name is Arjen Blanc. And he just a big, condolences to him and his family and all of Team Netherlands who have lost someone. And definitely just want to, we want to be as a community, just say that we're there for them and we want to really honor what they've done in game there, and as well as the entirety of South and that entire regional, that group that made that happen and controlled that neutral start. I really think it's awesome what they did there.
Well, to everybody whose life was touched by Arjen, clearly, man, I'm just hearing about this. It's been such a tough week, and this makes it even that much tougher. This community, Nathan, has always been there for each other, and that's one of where you really, really shine, folks, is in these moments. So keep lifting each other up and reach out to your friends in these moments. It's always a good time for a quick phone call to say, how are you doing? So we got to, this day and age, you can't look to the government to take care of you. We have to take care of each other.
Now, no, not to put any kind of a downer, but we definitely wanted to make sure to just give that shout out there. And, just as a community, I think also some of these pockets of the broadcast, obviously most of Europe is asleep. I'm going to send this on over to Evo in the morning. Just let them know, hey, if you want to show this to Team Netherlands, you can find it here, and this is
Yeah.
where it's at. But I think also it brings a connection across the entirety of the community because it is a worldwide platform and a lot of connection that ends up happening. And a lot of these racers are going to be racing from the Americas as well as the ocean in against EMEA this coming Saturday. So they're going to be mixing with all new teams and just getting an idea that, just where people are at maybe perhaps as well, especially with that Team Netherlands this coming weekend.
I tell you what, Nathan, a lot of things in life will let you down, but the spirit of this community never has. So let's stay strong out there.
100%. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results now as we are jumping in with the women's semifinals here for the Americas. I believe we do have those. And it is going to be, we saw this, it was Renate Bluski coming on through on the Rivet Cinderellas. We saw that last moment attack. And it looks like Lauren Babineau has figured things out a little bit. She has been off the back over and over again, and she's a professional triathlete at the highest level. And this rider, I've seen her really struggle the last couple of weeks to be involved at this high level. And next thing you know, bam, on one of the hardest courses that we've had, she's there at the end and has figured out, I think, the drafting, the dynamics, where to be, how to be there, when. What a move there from Lauren. Christina Grossman comes on through for third. Cassandra Rust there in for fourth. Rachel Lehman in fifth. Meredith Moran in sixth. Right there with Anna Russell in seventh. Claire Kleiman in eighth. Molly Van Hollen and Shannon Kaplan rounding things out. Quickly here, I want to compare this. And the situation at the end of the day with that, though, is Riot at the top here with a 331 and a 237. Those are the only two we're going to make a comparison with, actually, rather than going through all of the first across the line results and then compare up front. We're just going to really quickly roll through these. As you can see, Cryogen, Mary Blanc there with a 210, 179, 171, and then a 154. It is the top half that will make it. So to the next round, to the cup versus the plate, and across all of them, essentially, in the shield, etc. So the bottom half of this will then be going to the other, what do we call them? I'm not even sure. Like, we call them plate, cup,
shield and bowl.
Shield and bowl. But like, do they have like an overarching name though? That's what I'm looking for there. Like, what's the overarching name of them? But yeah, that's the situation here. And in with the C category, Dave, Coalition Eclipse.
All right, so Coalition Eclipse there with was close. ATP Racing Hive in second, ATP Racing Swarm third, Margaritas fourth, and Rave Beast Coast. And I think the same would apply. That cutoff line should be right there. So AHDRL Cherry Bombs in sixth. Sisu, I Race Like a Girl. That's the Atalanta edition there in seventh, Fearlessly eighth, Epic Vixies in ninth, and Coalition Unity, Nathan, going to round out our top 10.
In with the D category, ATP Racing Bumblebees just pull it off. This was some close racing here, Dave. 10 points. Rave Party come on through 165 in second. WTRL Dino Veloci, and with the Velociraptor off the front, not the Triceratops. Llamas, they do it, Dave. They hold on for fourth. Herd of Bodacious Bobcats in fifth place. It's Vixtress there in seventh, followed up by Coalition Impulse, Herd of Blazing Bobcats, and then it's going to be WTRL Harpies. Now, are there any more? There are a few more here. WTRL Dinos Tricera, Team Storm Hurricane there, followed up by Team F3FD. That is your top 13. So this is split in half, I believe. It will be.
And that was what the
7 and 6. Right? 7 and 6 that'll be making it. So I think all the way down to Seesaw Race Like a Girl Pele, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll let the top brass figure that one out. It should be right there,
Martin, let me know
obviously.
brackets. Martin,
So
let me know
I'm gonna
brackets. Cup, shield,
right.
plate, and
So
bowl.
right, Cup Shield right would all be considered bracket finals for us here. So
Thanks.
okay, that's our D's there with the Bumblebees at 175 at Rave Party. Very close. All right, let's take a look at the men now with next and short. I would say eking it out, but not a commanding victory there as Coalition Frenzy, a strong second place. What really mattered was you're on the top part of the table with VCRT. The Staff's in third, Restart fourth, Condor's fifth, On the Rivet Blur sixth, Velocio Trail Mesh seventh. Wahoo Lacole Americas, they're going to be seventh, excuse me. Velocio Trail Mesh in eighth, Velocio ninth, and Pizza Boys Racing in 10th. That's our A's.
Yeah,
11th was
Intrepid, it looks like. I'm not sure
Intrepid.
they showed up. I'm not sure Intrepid or
Yeah, it
Zitzer
doesn't look
showed
like
up.
Zed Sunrise did either. So they didn't get any points if they did. So let's take a look at the B's, Nathan.
In the B category, Dirty Duck Bees come on through with 195. It was really close racing with Mo Foss CC, Laywatt Brothers, JZQC in 188 points. In second place, third place, Cryogen Horicum with 176. Again, very close. This was a tight racing in that B category. Draft B come on through at 166. It's going to be ATP Racing Neon in fifth at 135. Before I go through the rest of them, I just want to double check something here. All the way down to 12th place. So top six are going to be pushing on through to the Cup, while the bottom six are going to be going through to the Shield. So it is then the cutoff at the HDR Troopers at that sixth place at 134. The jump down there to ACP Racing Lithium will be the top ones heading on into the Shield for the brackets. Coalition Soas there in eighth. RR Incendiary Rhinos, followed up by Sisu Racing Virus. Then in 11th place, it will be Gavia 88 Academy and Team F3 E-Punks with 17 points. On to the C's.
And it was the Cubs from BMTR with 183 points taking the top of the table. ODZ, Killer Whales in second, OTR Wheat Dicks in third, Sisu Racing Mallard fourth, RR Nuclear Rhinos in fifth. It's going to be ATP Racing Freon in sixth, Herd Mentality for seventh today, ATP Racing Halogen in eighth, Herd of Trusty Steeds in ninth, WTRL SQL for 10th. And I think that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
that's it right there.
That's our Steeds. Yep. Let's go ahead and take a look at the D's.
D category have a total of, it looks to be 12 that are in competition for the day. And it was the Herd of Fighting Frisians 229. It was very close. Before the finish line, Dirty Watts Underrated were actually in second place leading up to those finishing points, but they ended up jumping a little bit, the Herd of Plowing Perchians into that second place. So Herd do take first and second with the Fighting Frisians and Plowing Perchians. It's going to be Dirty Watts Underrated, followed up by Dirty Watts Undiscovered, 168 and 160. Those two brother teams, they're really battling each other for those points at 168, 160. ATP Racing Florian there in for fifth at 157, and right on the cusp of being cut down to the Shield bracket was Zed Suntastic there. 38 points, though, really was a jump down, though, to Sisu Racing Hanhi. So this is going to be a good battle, though, in the Shield, I think, seeing as how close they were to each other for the points, with eighth place being Herd of Queasy Quarter Horses, not running too fast.
That's
I
the
love
best
that.
one.
Seriously.
That's by far the best one. Queasy Quarter Horses.
It was only a 3-point difference, too, Dave. That's really, really close as they came across line. I think it's going to be a little different because there weren't a lot of points for them in the FAL and FTS for any of these riders down below. But Herd of Dashing Destrians, and then it's going to Destiers, and WTL Dino T-Rex. Then in for 11th, it is going to be Zed Sun Bums and Coalition Harmony. That's the situation out on course for the D's in this America's East.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The best names are always in the C's and the D's.
100%. I mean, absolutely.
So, all right, great day. And you know what's nice is just seeing everything working again for us. That was an excellent broadcast, at least as far as the production quality. Really, really loved seeing everybody shining out there. And great job, Nathan, covering all of the different kinds. We got everybody today, which is we caught probably 3/4 of the finishes. So well done, my friend.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Bravo.
That was a lot of fun. It was great to have a good broadcast after all the hiccups this afternoon. Again, if you are looking for the European streams, we have just cut them. It was not worth it to
Don't.
keep those streams
Don't
up.
go.
It was not
Don't look.
even close to worth it. If you are looking for some sort of replays or something, I know a lot of you like to have specific moments. If there are specific moments, we only were really even able to catch the A's at all. We weren't really able to jump around. Things were such a mess. Go ahead and contact me. I don't mind finding that and cutting it for you a little bit if you do like those moments to keep them for yourself for some reason. A few people already have. Otherwise, we will see you in just a little bit for the America's West out here on the WTRL semifinals. As always, everybody, WTRL.racing for the results, and ride on.
Let them see your perfect imperfections. Don't hide from bad feeling, 'cause they just want your words. I won't let them take me. No, I won't let them break me. No one on this earth can bring me down. Now I'm standing tall. I won't ever fall. Concentrate on the tightrope. The hope that you make it through to the other side. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Let them see your perfect imperfections. Don't hide from bad feeling, 'cause they just want your words, 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 words. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Now I'm standing tall. I will never fall. Concentrate on the tightrope. The hope that you'll make it through to the other side. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Let them see your perfect imperfections. Don't hide from bad feeling, 'cause they just want your words. I won't let them take me. No, I won't let them break me. No one on this earth can bring me down. Now I'm standing tall. I won't ever fall. Concentrate on the tightrope. The hope that you make it through to the other side. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Let them see your perfect imperfections. Don't hide from bad feeling, 'cause they just want your words, 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 words. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Let them see your perfect imperfections. Don't hide from bad feeling, 'cause they just want your words. I won't let them take me. No, I won't let them break me. No one on this earth can bring me down. Now I'm standing tall. I won't ever fall. Concentrate on the tightrope. The hope that you make it through to the other side. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Let them see your perfect imperfections. Don't hide from bad feeling, 'cause they just want your words, 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 words. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Now I'm standing tall. I won't ever fall. Concentrate on the tightrope. The hope that you make it through to the other side. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh.
Well, we're going to try something a little bit different here, everybody. Welcome back to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL finals. Well, semifinals. We are heading into the actual finals this weekend. And since we are changing things up just a little bit with leaving the broadcast live, I think something that we should be doing a lot more, and we are really trying to do over the last couple of weeks, is bring in more and more of the community. So let's go ahead and do just that. I've got Anna Russell as well as Greg Abbott from Next Esports going to be joining us right now. Big thank you to both of them for taking some time out of their evening to chat with us about exactly what went down in the races. Let's go ahead and head on over to Anna first real quickly. Just to chat real quickly with what she thought of the race, to get some of that whiteboard queen a little bit of her expertise for what just went down in the racing. Anna, can you hear me? I'm just making sure that you got me in your headphones there. I'm not even sure Anna knows if she's live right now. As, I have a feeling that she's looking back at some of the. Oh, perhaps she can't hear me. Got it. So, Greg, you got me though. I'll get Anna here in just a second.
Okay.
Greg, you got me?
I got you. You hear me?
Okay, quick. Anna, I think maybe your headphones. Just double check on you. I got you. Oh, definitely got you. I think Anna's might be just having a little struggle capturing on the headphones. I'm pretty sure across the board, I've got everything open. But Greg, you want to talk us through? I've got some replays here on the Greg
Sure.
Abbott from Next Esports. You know, I've got a couple of replays here, and I had a message from you right after the broadcast saying it was really great. Everything had come together. What exactly? You know what down in this beginning
gotcha.
here?
I gotcha.
Thanks, Anna. Good to have you. There we
There
go.
she is.
Anna's with us.
Oh, am I live? Oh gosh, sorry.
You
for
are
that. I don't even
live.
have my
You are
green screen up.
100%
no.
live.
Sitting here eating my rice and salmon. This is very amateur of me, isn't it?
Yeah, that's okay, Anna. All good. You just got done racing, and we threw this at you last minute, but it's definitely something that we are going to step up and be doing more and more as we head into the next things that we are up to. Now, obviously, this is going to be the finals, and we'll be revamping, but just a little bit of a sneak peek, I think, into a lot that we can do here at Zwift Community Live to make sure that we are highlighting all the community. I was going to head on over to Greg because I do have a replay set up, and I wanted to just let him speak over a little bit of what the plan was, because it was really similar what the two of your teams did. You guys both did very similar things. I saw Anna on the attack at the bottom of Titans Grove. Greg Abbott, your team also had some attacks at the bottom of Titans Grove, and then took out the sprint over the top of that KOM. Greg, go ahead and talk to me real quickly, though, about what you guys were thinking here.
Sure. I don't know if we're full gas. The guy's got a great amount of power for the size that he is, especially. So it's great to see him take this out. And then if you see hovering a little bit further back, Marcus Duval is just great at crushing segments. So even though he crosses the line a little bit behind, he got the fastest through segment for the night. So it was a big point tally on this section. Our plan got thrown a little bit out of whack because of the sudden appearance of Tim Rugg back in the e-racing world. Timmy's a friend. He's also from spent a lot of time in the DC area, and we raced against each other in real life a lot. So it's great to see him. But that long flyer that he was on made us have to calculate our efforts a little bit more a couple of times. He was way out there. On this one, we just stick to the plan. We always try to put a few riders into the points. There aren't enough points on offer today to have anybody take it easy. And we know that this is a sort of climb that can cause splits, and the best defense here is a good offense to keep everybody pushing through and trying to get into the points. And then you're on the right side of those splits.
Real quickly, Rugg was constantly on the attack. I could probably find a couple of spots where, he was on the attack so much.
Scroll anywhere, you'll find it.
We can pretty much just scroll through the entirety of these replays. And right here, you can see when he was off the front at this point, I want to know what you were thinking, because there was a reality that in my head, in the commentary, you can hear it. This isn't going anywhere. This isn't going to, this is a big risk that ended up paying off for him. I would assume you were not
really
expecting
did.
that.
Yeah, no, it was awesome to see him sort of put the screws to everybody. Like knowing Tim like I do, and the kind of rider that he is, we said 5 seconds is his leash before we have to take it seriously. And you can see right as that happened, our guys start moving to the front to just get the pace high enough. We didn't want to fully commit to this because we thought that the final gap would close on the last climb. So it was mostly about just ripping the pack speed up a little bit and setting the guys that we had up looking for the segment points to put them into a good position. And he just held on. So it was super impressive that he was able to. But at the same time, we're thinking that took a lot of energy. That's going to make it hard for him to do that another time. And we were able to take advantage of some hesitation, I think, later in the race.
Real quickly, looking at, I'm going to go ahead and find that spot. There's Rugg. 6 watts per kilogram, not thinking he's going to hold on. Next thing you know, he's got this 8.5. He makes it over the top, obviously, as you can see. It all comes back together. You guys have a pretty good confidence, I would think, when it comes to what you're able to pull off late in a race. I thought you were going to leave it to a sprint, but you send Zavislan off the front. I, again, didn't think that this was going to work out. Bam, we're proved wrong.
We had good numbers in the front group, and so we're able to use that to our advantage. And so after the forward KOM, I said to Stefan, like, hey, how do you feel about countering the last sprint and seeing if you can get a gap through the S's? Because it's just far enough out and just fast enough of a section that everybody will want someone else to be the one to close it, and that can be deadly. And the worst case scenario is it forces other people to be the lead out for our sprinters. And we kind of got the best of both worlds here. That is what happened, but they left it too late. So he's able to stick this from so far out, which was just awesome. He's like a huge workhorse, this incredible engine. He's an integral part of the team time trial team in our East Coast squad. And for him to finally get a scratch race win was just awesome. We're all like shouting in his ear the whole time, cheering him on. Meanwhile, guys were sitting back until they hit the orange numbers as they get to the bridge, but it's done and dusted. It was perfect.
Yeah, that looked like a great move by him. And I was actually really surprised. This course, Anna, you want to speak to it a little bit about how things really didn't play out well, at least across all of the races I watched today. I felt like there were a lot of upsets to what you usually see in Zwift racing.
Yeah, this course is awesome. I reconned it in the weekend, and as soon as I reconned it, I was like, this is going to be such a blast. There's just so many opportunities to attack so early on. I mean, you have Titans, which is rolling. You can't get a rhythm going. Then you've got that KOM in there. Then you come off. Hopefully, if you've made a split, then you've got a downhill where even if you've got a split, they can catch up, which is what happened in our race because it's a downhill into a flat. So you have people motivated to catch back on. And then you're straight into the Watopia KOM, which, is pretty brutal. And there's just so many opportunities for tactics in this one. You look at last week, it's always good to have that big hill climb, the Innsbruck kind of a thing, but the tactics are fairly minimal. It's kind of get to the climb, put in your best 20-minute power. Maybe some people will surge and do something, but it's not as tactical. Whereas this one, man, it was just an awesome race to try a whole lot of different things.
You want to tell me about what was going on here, Anna? Like, what was going on here? Like, all of a sudden, I'm looking at the start of the race thinking, Anna's just flying off the front. Like, I was not expecting that at all.
So, I don't know, maybe I'm going to get known for this. The way I know if I have good legs or not is to put in an effort. And so within like the first 2K, I'm like, I'm just going to go off the front, guys. Do you mind? And they're like, well, what's the point?
Do you mind? Aren't you in charge? I thought you were in charge. I don't know if you noticed, but you have whiteboard queen underneath your name right now. So, I mean, are you dictating whether or not you go, or they have to give you the go ahead?
I mean, I remember a couple of seasons ago, we raced in Yorkshire and and I love what you said, Greg, which is the best defense is a good offense. And I think sometimes if you wait for the tactics to happen to you, you're not going to win. And so today we were #no risk, no glory, Primoz Roglic tagline, just go for anything, go have some fun. What the hell? Like, what's the worst that can happen? We don't win. Okay, well, that's not a huge drama. Let's go make it entertaining.
Nice. Very cool. Very, very cool. I mean, it's very similar across the board. Greg, as Anna was said, go for it, no glory. And it looks like you guys took those risks today as well. And you also, I think, for your team, a lot was put on your shoulders. The way that it worked out for Riot, as you can see here, we saw them employ a couple of tactics. They went ahead and said Genreal off the front. They really controlled the race with the way that they took on the sprint then later on, and completely, you guys caused the break to happen where ATP were trying to make this chase.
Lead out for Christina.
It was an amazing lead out, one of the best, seriously. But Greg, I mean, you guys were a little bit more on a back foot, not as much control of the race, I felt. Well, I mean, you controlled the race, but you were forced to control the race, whereas Riot had a bunch of riders off the front in the break.
Yeah, I mean the breaks in our race were small, right? So it was just about containment, and the biggest points on offer were for the through segments, and you can't really get those without pack speed. So like a small break's just never going to get those points, and so we prioritize those over getting across the line first. So you don't see it on live action, but the point tally just gets blown up by that much more than watching who crosses the line first. And so what it might not look like complete control, but it was sticking to plan. So we were really happy with it.
Yeah, well, it seemed to actually work out really, really well. I know. What I want to know is coming from Premier Division and into these community races. How has things changed for Next Esports? In what ways?
So this season's been a little bit different because without a premier season, we've had this influx of talent, and I think that's affected a lot of the different divisions. So the EMEA division that we had a community team competing in the last couple of seasons got a lot harder. It was pretty brutal today, and for our own team, we have a global group of guys that are part of the Premier Division. So we basically let everybody filter into our 3 existing community teams based on where they lived and what worked in their daily schedule. So we didn't do what a few of the other Premier teams did and have everybody compete in the same zone. We sort of spread that talent around, and it's been great. I think it helped to raise the level of some of our community guys. There is definitely a sense within the team that there isn't big distinction between who is premier and who is not, that it's we're all in this together and we race together that way when it's not a premier event, and who makes our premier roster is up in the air based on the course selection and who's going well, who's not injured. And I think we have the depth that we can sort of slot guys in effectively and make those changes in every one of those courses. So it was like just a chance to get to race with the guys we haven't in a little while. So that was fun. But tactically, we saw a lot of the same, especially in this America's East division. There's a lot of battling with Velocio. It's sort of the tale of America's East A1 and continues to be. And it's a blast. Like, I think both of those teams make each other better.
Sounds good. And I want to bunny, bunny trail, bunny hop. I don't know, some sort of hop on to what Abbott just had said there. Did you guys feel similar about talent influxing, or maybe you'll see that this weekend, perhaps, as the women's fields are a little smaller, maybe not seeing quite as much of that influx, but I have a feeling, Premier Division level definitely going to be meeting you this weekend.
Yeah, I love it. I think I would prefer to race with all these hitters in Premier. It's amazing. And, Jen said on the chat, we're having a huge chat afterwards about esport. We actually were on the Discord channel for like almost 45 minutes after the race, just chatting all things esport. And, a rising tide raises all boats, right? So you get better if your competition's better. And yeah, the women's fields sometimes are a little bit smaller, but what I love is when I saw the number of women racing in this, my first thought was, we can make this tactical. It's really hard to do that when you've got a group of 80 riders, whereas, a smaller group, man, you can just set things on fire with some really good tactics, doing lead outs, trying some breakaways, trying some 1-2 punches. This was an interesting climb actually, because it didn't have fastest time segment. So you kind of had to know when to risk it to go for that first across line. I mean, Claire, she's such a hitter for our team. I mean, that's awesome. She's the queen of punchiness, and yeah, you can see her. She came through, near the end. We made the most of the draft here and then pushed on through. But yeah, it's back to your point. I just think, get all the best riders in this kind of league. I think it's great. I don't know if I like the split of Premier and community. I think I like these guys all together, and then maybe you have a separate thing like Zwift knockouts, which we've just seen as pure Premier racing, totally different format. So I mean, it's an evolving beast, but yeah, it's exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, and I just wanted to speak to, was there any concern? I mean, you had stacked the front end of the field so well. So I was thinking, and also this sprint, this was a really, really
I got to tell you a story about this sprint.
Yeah, tell me all about it. Here, we'll let it play through, and then we do have to get over. The women in the B category are heading into Titans Grove right now, and we are going to get some recording of what's going on there as our attack starting to take off in the next races here. But tell me a little bit of what happened here.
We're coming into the sprint, and Christina goes, I don't know, I'm so tired. I don't know if I got the legs for this. And I said, if you win this, if you beat me, it was a race between me, Christina, and Claire. Whoever wins this gets coffee. I will send you coffee to New York. I will send you coffee to Canada, whoever wins. And that little bit of motivation, look, and Claire and me coming up behind her, she smashed it. So I've already
Nice.
bought the coffee and it's en route to New York. So sometimes
Wait,
you
we had
just need a
discussion
little bit
about
of
this
team
this
motivation.
morning. You were supposed to
I
get me an
know.
avocado, and now she gets a coffee and I don't. Oh my
I know,
goodness!
exactly. Got
I
to
gotta
join Team
win.
Riot, Nathan.
Oh well, I don't know. You want to sprint against me? Now we're starting to really get. Now we're really having a conversation.
Okay, yeah.
Well, hey, you two. I really appreciate you jumping in with us here. The ladies are out on course. Greg, you got something?
Thanks for having us, man. It's awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, of course. Anytime, for real. We want to do way more of this as we head into the next big things. Obviously, there's going to be a whole revamp going. Well, not even a revamp, but kind of a quiet down as we get into summer, and then come back at things with all the awesomeness through the middle of the summer and into the fall. But we want to do way more of this. Anna, Whiteboard Queen, good job out there today. I really appreciate you jumping in with us. Well, the racing, everybody, is getting underway right now out on Watopia. The women are in with the Titans Grove climb, and I've got a familiar face ready to jump on in with the broadcast with us right now, as I believe Mr. Towle is going to be here with us. Well, and I do have this like weird countdown, but I'm just going to get rid of that as we go. Somehow I put that in on that image. But Dave, pretty cool to have those two. And, next, Riot, they were kind of the dominating forces.
I always wondered what Greg Abbott looked like. So now I know.
I actually met up with Greg this weekend. After we,
did you see him in DC?
Yeah, in DC. Yeah, I actually ended up meeting up with him and had a big long conversation. And he's a great guy, obviously. And they showed up and made it happen today.
Yeah, he works at the Smithsonian there.
I heard it was so cool. Actually, we talked about like all these cool projects going on and stuff. It was really cool, as well as the library you told me, or the memorials and the libraries you were telling me about on those walks that you did through DC.
Yeah, it's really something down there. So, well, good. I'm sure the women are having at it. As we saw with Anna Russell and the Riot team, they jumped all over the front of the bike race and ended up, that was a really interesting race for sure. Both races were. It's been fantastic to see how competitive these teams are. And I completely agree with Anna Russell's comments about the steel sharpens steel. These riders benefit greatly by the level raising across the board. If you want to be a better cyclist, ride with better riders. That holds true to anything that you do in life. So, yeah, well done, everybody. Tough course to race on here today. It's been selective. I think it's actually been about what you would expect it to be, to tell you the truth, as we're in with D Makepeace, one of the Canadians here on the Cadence team, Megan Holtham and Tracy Moore, her other teammates out here today. I see Tracy Moore running right up near the front here. As there's Daniela Torelli, a stalwart in racing. That's the Dutch Diesel team. They come in strong. There is no A's in America's West, so the B's are where all the action is at. Gail Matherly, Ashley Yip in this field. She's an up-and-coming rider, a real strong individual to keep an eye on. As looks like they're pushing the tempo right now, and we're really at this point, the first points are going to be on offer. Just for anybody joining us for the first time here today, little over 26 kilometers of racing, 2 significant climbs. They're not monster climbs. They're enough, especially the second climb seems to be a launching pad into the finale of the race. This is going to be Joy Connolly, a legend for us out here on the ATP team. This team always so impressive. They've got Hannah Stallkamp out here. Jenny Chiata is back. I mentioned Joy Connolly, Nats McLean, and Rachel Winchester, along with Sarah Abernathy on that ATP team. But it looks like the steady churn going on up on the front right now.
Yeah, and they have brought it all back together. There was a little bit of attack early on from ATP that did look like they had an interest in making some moves, but it was shut down pretty quickly. As you can see here, we are in with the America's Cup West 1 for the women. We will do our best to jump around as the ladies finish up to some of the other categories, as if we do have a little bit of time to do so before they finish up. The men are going to be taking off in just a moment. Well, the mixed Americas. as well for the America's Cup West 1. They're in the pens with 4:27 to go. And a team that we've been talking about a lot is the Oh My God, That Killed Kenny team. And they are in here, Dave.
Yeah, and a little bit of a different lineup for the guys, actually. So I saw Dan is not racing today.
Is that true?
Um,
Really?
eh,
I saw him join the
yeah.
pens. Is he just a DS today? Maybe?
Oh, he is. He is. I'm sorry. When I looked earlier, I didn't see his name. He is. My bad. Dan Pedroza is there. So it's the regular lineup of hitters here: Eric Flanders, Jacob Wolford, Michael Grenier, Peter Mogg, and Travis Frazier, along with BB. So yeah, I apologize there. For some reason, I thought he was out on the road, but I might be wrong. But back to the women here. Joy Connolly setting the pace on the front. As you said, Nathan, the guys will be out on the same course here, slugging it out as our final race of the day. Obviously, looking forward to Saturday. It's a lot to take in, but we're into the finals now. This is the semifinals for America West, and these riders really are hoping to make Saturday's race in the top of the table. Basically draw a line right through the middle of our results when this one is done and dusted. And you'll see that in this B group, Nathan, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. So it might only be 2 teams that advance out of this group, maybe 3 out here. But it's not a large group. Danielle Torelli's hit out now. There's some points waiting for them. So Torelli of the DDC team, Dutch Diesel Cycling, going to go for it. See a lot of orange up here near the front.
Look at this monster effort. And you can just see it coming out of the avatar, actually. 7.6 watts per kilogram right now, grinding to the top. It's right here with that line in just a moment. As they come past the second set of rocks, you will see a white line. Third set of rocks. They've got it's kind of like a little monument there that they've built. It looks like a little memorial or something there. And then it's going to be Stan here from ATP coming up through for a second. It's going to be Ashley Yip, DDC, followed by Corinne from NZ Bro, Joy Connolly, who lit the fire to start, ends up in the coals for 5th or 6th there across the line for the points.
Should be a pretty good spread of points, it looks like, Nathan. No one team. Wow. That's brutal to look at there. It's every woman for herself right now as they have a little bit of descending to do. As they make their way up to 7K in, it's a slow, steady, 3-4%. Never gets much steeper. But let's see if the damage done is going to be healed. Are we going to weld this back together? This is kind of a crazy scenario that we're looking at. Riders all over the shop right now, left, right, and center.
Yeah, this is blown up. I do think that this group with Moore, Meadow, Connolly, and Hines will be the death knell to Torelli's attempt, or maybe just a roll away, as she took a lot of time over the top there, because there's just a snowball effect. And behind that, because they're pushing 3.6, 3.7 watts per kilogram, it probably is going to end up with, well, if they get together up ahead here and the timing isn't right for Rutherford and Winchester, they might find themselves in a chase they cannot complete.
Yeah. So when you look at it now, this is one of the toughest moments in cycling. It's going to be Rutherford, one of the Team F3 riders, chasing back into a motivated front group on a descent. This is tricky work out here.
Yeah, very, very touch and go for this moment. You can just see those riders off in the distance here from this view coming from Rutherford. This is the moment here where she really has to dig in, get the speed as high as she possibly can, and make that catch. Now that they're out of sight and it's out to 4 seconds and the group is ahead on a downhill, now the real work begins if they're going to bring it back.
As they go by that Brontosaurus, it looks like this is really the moment here where it's do or die, like being caught in a riptide, I would say. You realize that you are really, really in trouble. As far as going for the race win, holding on to these positions becomes critical as well. Taking a look at the pens here, where the guys will be launching in just a moment. So there they go. Andiamo, as we say, out onto course is the same deal for them. Just over 26 kilometers of racing with 2 featured climbs out here. This is the Downtown Titans Porpoise course that we're racing on. As we've got Brett Boniface and hey, thoughts going out to Kate Bates as she has uh, personal day off today with the loss in her family, and we love Kate so much, and certainly sending our best wishes out to all of her loving family there. Tough weekend for the Bates family, but
Yeah,
Kate will be back.
100%. Yep,
Yeah.
100% there, Dave. Thank you so much for that, and definitely part of the family here. Then we
We love
definitely
Kate
send it
so
on.
much. Yeah, absolutely. So, and that Boniface is straight Kate, isn't it? She has so much fun. Such a wonderful, wonderful colleague. So, all right. Well, she'd be bummed to be missing this race for sure, as it looks like Rutford here of Team F3, Nathan, continues to chase. The ATP rider with her, is that Schuster?
With say the question.
Oh,
Sorry, I
sorry.
totally
They're trying to
missed.
the ATP rider there with
Oh, Winchester. Winchester.
Winchester. My bad. My bad there.
They're keeping it at 6 seconds. This
They're
is an effort, Dave.
actually
Like, and
They
now
just might
NZ
join. They're gonna
Bro,
get some help. Yeah,
yeah, with
reinforcements.
Sparkle. Summertime here made it on.
Sierra
Oh,
Sparkle.
but she's turning
Oh
around.
no. That little
Sparkle,
hiccup there.
you got to stay
Sierra
on
Sparkle.
course. Where is your avatar going? It looks like she was like, let's make sure we bring the rest of them into the fold here, and turns it
wonder,
around a little bit here.
Did she mishit a key on her computer or something there? That was
That's
a
a
weird
connection.
one.
It's usually a connection issue.
That was a little
Whenever that
quick.
happens, because during a race you cannot turn around. So,
Look at her.
um,
Oh, okay. So, yeah, well, good. She's back on it now. Look at her moving right up to the front here after that weird little hiccup. So, Sierra Sparkle is a legend, the Wahine Toa rider here for NZ Bro. Going back to that chase now. Yeah, there's a lot. This would be what I guess we'd call the peloton at this point. Certainly the largest group on course that Nathan's got in frame.
yeah, Sparkle, something's happening. I think it's all a connection thing going on there because she's kind of all over course. I think uh, her currently, we might have no clue what she's actually seeing at this point on her end. And I have a feeling her avatar is going to be jumping around a little bit as the game looks to try and figure out exactly where she's at. But 5 seconds here is the difference here between this chase group. They are actually bringing it back. They've got some reinforcements. DDC are here with them. And it looks like Moore, Hines, Connolly, Torelli maybe are going to have a little bit of company in a moment or two.
Yeah, this group looks pretty motivated. I'm absolutely on it right now as they're cruising along here at 36 kilometers per hour. This is how, so yeah, you can see 3 teams taking the Lioness's share of the points out here, 52 for DDC Xena, Dutch Diesel Cycling, ATP Racing Vespid with 42. That's really close, actually. NZ Bro, Wahine, that Bro stands for Bicycle Racing Online. The Wahine Toa team, 26 total points for them. So 8 for Caden's team F3W, just yet to get up on the board. They might have a limited group of riders out here today.
So it'll be interesting. I wonder how it'll play out here for the half and half. Will we have 3 teams go in Cadence? I mean, Cadence were one of the favorites coming in to me, and Dutch Diesel and ATP and then Bro just dominated here over the top. Cadence really need to step it up over this next climb, or else they might be out of the picture.
I don't know if I'm missing anything, but I see they only have 3 riders on Zwift Power. I have a feeling
That might be why. Good call.
That's part of the problem, certainly. Just a woman power issue out there. The guys are out on course. They'll start approaching that first. It's a gradual run up to that first climb. There's that little bump that they hit right here. Ladies almost halfway into the race, and it's effectively a real halfway. As you've got one of the climbs done. The second featured climb is coming up. They've already got some points up on the board. It's DDC, the team in orange and blue, that have got a 10-point advantage right now. So that's certainly in play at this point. As we take a look at both races going on at the same time, guys peloton much larger as they've just gotten out on course. They got 26 point, we'll call it 26 and a little bit of change of racing out here. It's been fast though. We've seen some of the faster groups, Nathan, finishing right around half an hour out here today. Maybe a little more than that, but these 2 groups are coming together in my estimation. Looks like you could hit the reset button here.
Loving how you can see this over the shoulder
Happens
perspective.
so often today. Never seen this happen more, Nathan, of groups chasing back.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the nature of how big those gaps get, I think, on the Titans Grove climb that you get a pretty enough of a gap that you can stay away on the downhill and maybe
But not a
get to a
huge
lot of
gap,
descent.
right?
And the descent is rolling, and so because of that, it doesn't just roll away real quickly. You can work enough to keep it within striking distance, and it's this kind
Yeah.
of long downhill grind through Ocean Boulevard, which you can really work with to gain some speed.
It's really a course that teaches you don't give up, don't throw in the towel. You never know when the legs are going to come better. If you happen to get caught on the wrong side of that split, I don't think I've ever seen a course that would encourage you to keep your head in the race out here more than what we've got. So these are the women, midpoint of the race right now as they go through the Aqua Tunnel.
Nice job by that chase, making it a very different race than we could have had just a moment ago. Now, Cadence, they only had 8 points over the top of that line. There's 3 riders, though, here for them. If they have a good kick over the top, but DDC have shown up with some hitters today. We saw them dominate that sprint just a moment ago. So it's going to be a tough one here, I think, for Cadence to bring back those kind of points in last place currently for the point standings. Now we're really getting into it here with the boys as they make their way over the top of Titans Grove. We do see an attack going off the front.
I have never noticed before that there must be a Connolly relationship going on. I'm not a detective, but I'm going to guess that Joy Connolly must have a husband. And I'm looking for Sean Connolly. Oh, it's Sean Donnelly that I saw. I apologize. TFC Reddit. So,
Dave's trying to make the matchmaker over here.
Andrew Connolly. There we go on the OTR team. An Australian. I'm wondering.
Is Joy's from the USA though?
Doesn't mean they're not married.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But you're right. That would be a clue to maybe not Connolly.
I found like 4 or 5 Guerras recently that were like women. I think on that I've seen like them on the platform. I don't think I'm married to him though. I'm not sure.
I hope you'd know. Right? Yeah.
But racing at the same time, that is a little bit more of could be. But yeah, OTR here.
Right. Yeah, that's the team. So that's the man we were talking about, the Australian, Andrew Connolly here. And they are all over the front.
It's spelt differently.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, then there you go. That pops that balloon. Close,
man.
No
Boniface
star.
is making fun of us now. Well, I don't know if he's making 7 wives, 7 lives, Nathan. Oh man.
That's not us. Right. All right. So, Riot presented by Hard Do. Any relation to Anna Russell's Riot?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And what does Hard Do? And I think Hard Do is probably
like alcohol.
Yeah, beverage. Yeah, some sort of beverage there. Yep.
Yeah, like a whiskey or something. He'll have to get Electric Spirit Co. on the case.
Working on it.
Did you see that? Yeah, did you see that Beanie Grimet got hit with a champagne cork today and had to go to the hospital?
No! Are you kidding me?
It hit him in the eye. Hit him right in the eye.
Come on.
Yeah, they said he might not start the Giro tomorrow, but
no
now it looked
way.
Well, now it's looking like he will start because he was able to come back.
Did he hit himself with it, or was somebody else?
Well, it exploded out of his. So this is the second bottle that's exploded on the podium. Someone's keeping those.
Somebody's got to do something about this. Somebody's got to do something about we're injuring them on the podium. Like, why are riders getting injured on the podium?
2, because it happened to Vanderpool too. He got hit with a cork.
Fraser, Philip Flanders. All right, here we go. Kenny's on the roll. B Diddy trying to upset Kenny. But B Diddy has got 14 watts per kilogram. Here he goes, and he says goodbye to these boys. TFC, the Friday criteria. Flanders trying to do something, but sorry, Ned, out the back, bud. That's the Simpsons, but
and then look at this. I mean, it's Brian Diddy, who's a straight up legend, and then Oh my God, they killed Kenny, sweeping the next 3 or 4 spots. That's really been the story of the season, to tell you the truth. T Daddy backing up B Diddy, but it just has
Oh,
been
he went too early. Dave, Dan Pedrosa, you asked if
shocker.
he showed up, and yes, he showed up to take the points with Frazier right on his wheel. Did he just went too early? He released
They
the
went
album.
1,
Wait,
2,
he did his dance, released the
3.
album, and it was just a one-hit wonder. Sorry, Diddy, off the back.
So that's not his perfect sprint, but man, I'm a little surprised to see that, to tell you the truth. Even Brian Diddy isn't perfect. So good lesson for all of us. Dan is, I would say that Dan Pedrosa has become an esports legend here over this last year. Stepped up. He's clearly been working hard. I got to give him,
They
he's
have
certainly
7
in my,
seconds, Dave. 7.
well, yeah, we've seen these gaps be welded back. Let's see if it can be done again or not.
They're chilling out. They're not going for it.
Yeah.
2.9, 3.8.
Too
The
early.
one thing I want to say, though, is I've raced with them, and their tactics on these climbs and lead out trains are the best I've ever experienced. I mean, like, that setup was communicated well. Don't go to this moment. Wait to this moment. Ramp your team up. Get them right where they need to be. Go. Hit out. And that's exactly what Frazier and Pedrosa just did.
You know, just talking with Greg Abbott earlier, it seems like these teams have really looked at that model that Next has created, or Velocio, or Riot on the women's side of things, being extremely well prepared, communicating well, and to be honest, doing the work and being at the level to be effective and useful. And that's really been the hallmark of the success for these teams. It's really not that complicated, but it is a lot of hard work. And that model is being replicated. And I would say that OMG, they killed Kenny, not all that different than Next in the way that they approach, or Velocio in the way that they approach races. They do their recon work. They usually do it together.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, that's 100% true. Those guys, they all put the work in. I know that they practice, and they're very, very committed. Now, look at this here.
They take
Dave.
it seriously. They
This
have
is
fun.
a move.
So we're going back now and picking up here the women, and this is wow, ATP taking it to the streets, as
But
they
like,
say.
look at those points. They kind of have to, right? 42 points. They're right on the edge. NZ Bro is right there. It's the top half that make it to the next. So they need to get some points back here in order to make themselves safe from NZ Bro.
Which rider is this? What an interesting name tag.
Yeah, we
that
had
she
this.
used.
We had this last race with her. And
So is it Hannah Stallcamp?
No, I do not believe it is. I will find it for you here real
So
quick.
of the
Nats
ATP
McLean.
riders,
Nats McLean.
Nats McLean. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's Nats backwards if you look at it.
It is.
That's
Nice job. Stanley Yelnats, same
Yep.
kind of thing. Ever seen the
Yep.
movie?
No, but
No.
I can
You
imagine.
don't like sweet onions? Sweet onions and treasure? Come on now.
I'm thinking more Red Rum Murder from
Oh,
the.
no, gosh. Oh, boy.
What was that? The Shining, right?
That's The Shining. Yeah. Yeah.
Stephen King. Yeah. So okay, Ashley Yip doesn't care. She changed her hair color. I saw the other day. As Ashley Yip is another one of the phenoms that we've got here, and she's on a good day. Look at her crushing it now, getting up there. That's going to be Tracy Moore, the cadence rider in green, that the Canadian Ashley Yip of Dutch Diesel Cycling. Looks like Noah's Ark right now, Nathan. 2 by 2 by 2 out here.
Yeah, and it's a tough day here for NZ Bro. They really got to make something happen. Cadence now with Moore trying to make some moves and get them back involved. It really the toughest day is for Cadence though. Moore, the only one with
they
really
just don't have the
scoring much
women.
at all. They don't have the numbers or the firepower and the numbers that they do have. If I make my way back here, Cadence, I mean, they were a dominating force too. That's the thing. When in the regular season, I felt like they were absolutely on fire, and the ones to watch out for, they come in and they just don't got the numbers today.
I'm wondering, some teams maybe just looked at the regular season and said, because right now college is letting out all over North America, and most of these riders are North American. Obviously, New Zealand is not North America, and we have some Australians with us, and various countries represented. But the meat and potatoes of what we're doing here is going to be Canadians, Americans, and Mexicans. And yeah, it's just a very interesting time of year, isn't it? As summertime is opening up, a lot of people are in transitory parts of their lives. So I'll cut them some slack here, as they certainly had a great regular season. We're into two of our final races for our Zwift community, and it is being basically coming back together of, I'd say this is going to be an 8-rider group that we've got here. ATP Racing Vest, but only 10 points out. So that is really in play. 10 points is pocket change when you look at the finish. So many points stacked up there. And they do have another points opportunity to look forward to, as the women are deep into this race now. 26K is the total distance. And they're mostly, at this point now, going to be heading downhill to the finish line.
Real quickly, just going to highlight the situation in the C category. This is not the images from the C category, but this is, and Nathan just went ahead and turned himself way down for a second there. But this is the herd of meerkats, as you can see here, 53 West Coast Coalition there. Those are not the same jersey. It does look a little bit like they are, but that is two different teams than the herd of Mr. Meerkats there. And then it is herd Mischievous Meerkats and Fearlets in the C category. That's the current situation as they were through the first segment. It does not have the second segment yet tallied, but we are looking at the B category. Very similar.
Pretty similar to the Bs in the way the points are being distributed there. Well, that's updated, and you can see it's even closer now, down to 6 points between Dutch Diesel and ATP, with NZ Bro just on the right side of that cutoff. I'm not 100% sure
here, Dave. What is even happening?
Oh my God, they killed Kenny is absolutely in fuego right now. Just looking at that image very quickly.
They all went to the front for a moment, like all of them, and had this little gap for a second, and then all of a sudden it chilled right on out. I wonder if everybody's heart rates went up from that little push.
A BL13 moment? It's a little early for that, isn't it? For an entire
I have
team
a feeling. So maybe they were rolling the downhill and they wanted to try and take, like, you can do that. You can totally take advantage of a downhill roll and catch the rest of the pack off guard, perhaps. That may have been what they're up to.
Well, a long way to go at this point, just at the midpoint as they drop down into the aqua tunnel.
2 to 3 times, though, TT champions in the last month. That team, and this is all the same guys. You put them off the front.
That's not a tactic that I'd endorse, but go for it. Why not? These are the kind of races where you can certainly try something out of left field. If that was a successful tactic, I think you'd probably see it a little bit more.
Yeah, a little more. Well, I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Go for it if you want.
Well, it was done. It was done 3 weeks ago in the Electric Spirit Co. and it pulled. It worked. It worked, but it was on an uphill though, by this team. But now we do see they are chilling way out here.
Was it 13K out? Was it a long way out?
It was over the top. So yeah, I would say 6K. Is it 6K? 5K? 6 or 5, 6K? So a little bit closer. A little bit closer.
So all right,
I think a team like this though, if we want to that conversation, it wouldn't matter to them as long as they get the riders off the front. All they care about is softening the legs of the others to force them, especially in a small group like this, and they're just willing to work because then the other teams have to work just as hard as them. If they get 5 off the front, and even having 1 or 2 come with them, it'd be awesome actually.
The difference would be the other teams hopefully would be able to combine their efforts rather as one team is all team time trialing. Every rider's got to be fully committed, where the chasing group, again, it's a small group here. So this is not a 140 rider peloton that we're talking about. It's a 30 rider peloton. So that certainly would increase your chances. If you've got 5 of the 7 strongest guys in the race, Yeah, I mean, you might be able to pull something like that off.
Yeah, we'll see if
That's-
they end up trying to make a move again. Here we go with McLean. Nice little move. ATP dominating the sprints. It looks like DDC taking second, Connolly for third, Meadows and Bro out sprinting. It looks like Cadence with more. They do have a gap again. This keeps on happening here, Dave. These little punches make some separation for the riders.
Yeah, and this is where now we're getting down to the nitty gritty, as there's not that much racing ahead of them here. This race finishes just after 26K, and you can see they're 22.4K in. DDC has 2 riders in this group. Looks like Cadence has 1. That's going to be NZ Bro with a couple there. That's the black jersey of the New Zealand-based team.
Yeah, Corinne making a little
Interesting
bit of a
makeup
move.
of this group.
She's got the 6-meter gap. I wonder if this is an attempt a little bit. It is going to break things. I think she doesn't want this to come back together. She wants to whittle it down a little bit. And it is working to make sure that 1 or 2 of these riders does not stay involved. And that's going to be Mitchell Prey here off the back by 1 second. And this may roll. You can really get some speed if somebody's willing to through the Essies.
Yeah, it is rolling here as we take a look at Mitchell Prey trying to chase back in. That little surge catching her on a back foot. This is tough. Again, we're back at this moment here. I don't know that they do sit up now, as it looks like it's full gas up in our front group here. So, well, holding on for position, as there will be plenty of valuable points at the line there for Mitchell Prey, but we're going back into this front group here. And it is NZ Bro who's been doing the damage over the last couple of K. ATP moving back up to the front here.
And as
like
they
we're starting to-
roll through the Essies, Dave, it is only going to be 3 kilometers to the finish. 3 kilometers to the finish.
Pretty likely we sprint with this group, to tell you the truth. I don't know that anyone's going to be able to attack and get away. It's been the story of the day, to tell you the truth, is you kind of lock things down because it is now completely, well, it's not completely flat, but there's no feature climb. There's nothing to launch off of. And with a strong group like this, awfully hard to get an advantage. But it has been done out here today. We've seen some solo wins. It hasn't been tremendous time gaps, but this is going to be a fantastic finale for our B women, I mean to say, as we get right down to it here.
Yeah, only in the D category for the women, right? We saw 1 rider off the front from the D category in the women, and then
And that's
it
a
was
little more the
that
Wild
move.
Wild West.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
And then we saw the
yeah.
move though from Next Esports with Zavalis, and then that was it, really.
Yeah, exactly. For the most part, it's usually been this scenario exactly here. A select group. Who's the best sprinter left in a group of relatively strong climbers or rouleurs, or as you say, Nathan, the punchy type riders seem to do really well out here today. And speaking of that, this is the front group for the men that we're looking at now. And there's Paul Schaefer, who's moved up. Brett Boniface is there. Valker, Hill, T-Daddy, so the teammate of Brian Diddy, he's been coming on strong as well. Forced to be reckoned with is T-Daddy there. Numbers starting to go orange. It's going to be Paul Schaefer attacking off the front now. So, this is a strong, strong rider. Very, very dangerous.
Yeah, and as you can see here, solid move so far coming in from Schaefer. He's got, look at this, 4 seconds, Dave. I mean, this gap, they're just letting him go. And he's seen OMG's tactics on this specific climb before, and he has upset them because OMG were planning exactly this. Look at Boniface, 13, 11, Daddy there, 11. They waited until the flattening out and carry the speed, but at 9 watts per kilogram in 7 seconds, I think Schaefer has upsetted the apple cart.
Yeah, he's definitely going to pick up the bonus points up here without any question. This is exceptionally strong move. So this is where they're going to be sprinting for second, no question in my mind. Watch the gap come down. By the time he comes across the line and you hear the cha-ching sound as he rings up maximum bonification, it's only a moment later.
That was so close. That was, do you think so? Yeah, I mean, that was like right there. Ooh.
Frazier right there. Yeah, that'll go to the photo finish. But what happens now is my question.
I mean, this is so blown apart. OMG completely demolished the group.
If they were going to
And
do what you were talking about, now would be the time to do it. They've got all their guys sitting up in the top 10 riders. So if that was a plan,
Dan and
I would go
Frazier.
ahead.
Yep. There you go, Dave. They're trying to break. And after what Schaefer did
Yeah,
there,
I'm
they're going
not
to know
endorsing
he's going to be
it,
in
yeah.
a lot of pain. Diddy is trying to come across. He knows it's trouble right now. But can he put in the effort? They do not want Diddy to come across to this, I don't think. I think they want him to be broken off the back. Frazier continues at 5.6. I don't know if they got a whole lot of wattage left, though.
Well, and I don't know that Dan Pedrosa is beatable at this point. He is clearly on some of the, I would have to think, the best form of his life. This guy's been doing a lot of work. We're going to leave that for just a moment and jump over to the women as they're down to about, let's call it 300 meters to go, maybe a little less than that as the sprint has already begun. You can see that's going to be Tracy Moore of the Cadence team. And I think Tracy may have enough in the tank to take this one. As the Canadian Canucks up, ATP
Right
is
to the
coming. That's going to be Nat.
line. Oh, I'm not sure. I think Nat's got it. Nat's got it from ATP, I think. We don't know where the line is. I know it's weird.
Invisible finish lines are a bummer, I got to say.
They are a bummer.
Yeah.
It's too bad. But I have a feeling Nat's got it there.
So the
Nice
riders see
nice
a
race.
line, just so you know.
They do.
That
They do.
it's the
Yeah,
clients.
they have no idea where the finish line is. That'd be
The
even.
race of unknown distance. When you hear a whistle, you're done. Like, that's not going to be super popular with these
That's
riders.
one of the
So good
hardest
job, ladies.
races, though. That is a thing, and that is one of the hardest races in the world.
Yeah, I was talking about that the other day. The unknown distance at the velodrome, right? All right. So
8
3.
seconds, Dave. They made it happen.
Last guy you want with you, though. It's funny. For, oh, my God, they killed Kenny. This stays away, in my estimation, even though it's less than 10 seconds. These are 3 of the strongest riders in this group, without any doubt. Frazier here, Pedrosa, and Diddy is the rider in the yellow jersey, Brian Diddy. This goes to the line, in my estimation, even though we're still 6.5K away. The problem is Brian Diddy might be the best sprinter on paper. Dan Pedrosa has a strong teammate and is incredibly motivated. This is a tough one to call if you do sprint with that group of 3. Obviously, Diddy's got to be at some type of disadvantage just looking at the numbers here. And Nathan, as you said, oh my God, they killed Kenny. They've been doing their work. They've been running through these scenarios, and I would think that they'll come with a master plan here to try to deal with one of the best sprinters in esports right now, TFC. That's the Friday criterion, Brian Diddy. I love this scenario. And if they play around at all, these guys will gobble them up.
And you can see immediately Faulkner is here, like, forget this for Riot. Go into 6.6 watts per kilogram, like, come on, boys. But OMG is just going to let that go. They're not going to chase that down.
Help.
No, they're not going to do anything. And they're going to let him go out into no man's land. Well,
to chase that back would be tactically probably the worst move made so far this century. And they're not. You know, I mean, like, you got 2 guys in a 3-rider breakaway. That's good. That's a good scenario for you, especially when it's Pedrosa and Frazier.
look at Boniface. Kicks at 16, though, with a roll through and just says, forget it. Nobody's on his wheel. This is a great move by Boniface because if he gets across, then it's a 3v1.
The only way you do this is if you don't bring anyone with you, and that's exactly what Brett is doing. So this will get the stamp of approval, as now you can do it again. If you've got another rider for OMG back in that group who's got the legs to snap out of that group, go for it. This is really a master class being put on by OMG. They killed Kenny right now. Boniface is just going to go from group to group. They might do it again with another rider there, actually. They're not going to drop Diddy out of that group on the flat and downhill to the finish. So no matter what they do, so what they're going to need to do is start attacking him over and over on repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat until Diddy's gone. Like lice.
We do have
like hair
Barr
right
on screen. Christine Barr here. Nice little breakaway for Christine from the C category. We'll jump back in with the sprint in just a moment, but I wanted to get the winner of the C category for the women. The men about to make that sprint. So here we go. She's riding for the Misfit Meerkats, and that's a good move by her because they're a little bit behind here with West Coast Coalition, actually, at this moment. So this is a good pickup of points for her. As she does cross the line. Nice job doing just that. And the rest of her team is going to be looking to come across now. It's come back on over to the men here real quickly. They're just going to be opening up their sprint. And it does look like Frazier up ahead as Boniface struggling, actually. Diddy
just made a
sitting
huge effort.
in. And Diddy will get these points, but they do stack the top here, though, with 3 riders across the line.
So Brett had just bridged across, making a huge effort to get to that group. So it's unfortunate timing, but I think that the body of work that he's done should get Boniface back into this group. These are the 2 original. Oh my God, they're going to go back and look at the rest of the sprint points being distributed now.
ATP coming with a flying sprint right there. Zeglar was insanely fast. He was up almost 57 kilometers per hour from a flatland.
That's impressive speed. That's some. Well, I wonder what those watts per kilo were.
I wonder if he's going to hang on now. The counter's coming on through.
That
They
had to
brought it
hurt,
back to
right?
almost 11 seconds here as they're about to hit the Essies. Frazier's just saying forget it and doing a next esports Zavalis right now.
So, and this is perfect. I mean, the name of the game here is going to be, as I said, just keep attacking Brian Diddy. Even though they don't need to win this race to win this race, if you know what I'm saying, this is based on team points out here. Having the first rider over the line gets you a lot of points and is certainly nice for the pride and ego and all that goes with that. But ultimately, that's no guarantee, or not even close to it. There is no guarantee. It's going to be how your entire team does. But there's pride as well. And I have a feeling we're going to look now at the C women. This is the rest of the podium spots that we've got coming across the finish here.
Yeah, the WCC here trying to grab some podium points here for 8th place. As you can see, Barrera coming across the line. We also have a few more WCCC out in that top 20. These points all matter as Coalition had 2 teams going up against the Meerkats, and it's right on the line between these teams actually when it comes to who's going to make it into the Cup versus the Shield when it comes to the brackets here. Bridget going to the attack here, as you can see. A little bit of kick here coming out of the USA. Hannah trying to come across out of Canada. Navarro is there as well for the Coalition. A little ways behind the teammate LaRossi, and then Groves from Team Fearless. That's going to be all within your top 20.
All right. So they're just finishing there. Back to the guys. They've got, oh boy, we're down to, let's say, 2.3K. So just a little over a couple minutes of racing until this one is done and dusted. This is going to be Travis Frazier that we're with, and it looks like he's effectively put this one on ice. His teammate Dan Pedroza. They've been, at this point now, oh my God, they killed Kenny, Nathan. They've got so many talented riders on this team that they're going to distributing the wins amongst the team becomes a bit of a thing. Everybody needs to get a shot at it. Today, this is going to be Frazier golden out here, and it looks like so Dan Pedroza and Brian Diddy with Brett Boniface. It's almost the same scenario, 2-on-1, but the win has gone up the road. The chicken has flown the coop.
They made the race so hard that Frazier, he didn't have to go for too many points there. They allowed Diddy to take it, and then Frazier, I think saved a couple of matches for this moment, and then boom, makes the attack. And now the race is so hard, and there's a chase behind this, what was a breakaway with 1 up the road, and they don't got to do anything. They're not going to chase their teammate down. They're just going to keep it fast enough that they're not caught here. Diddy might get a ride, but they've stacked the points here, and that's what matters to them.
Yeah, exactly. And for these guys, though, what a great opportunity to test your sprint. These are 3 very, very competent athletes. As that's going to be Pedroza with the hair there on the back, and then Brian Diddy in the yellow jersey right in the middle, as you can see, and his teammate on the front is the Canadian Brett Boniface, a longtime legend in the world of esports. He just joined OMG that killed Kenny even mid-season, this season, I would say. I hope I'm accurate on that, but a newer team member. But in esports, things are constantly in flux, Nathan, aren't they? I mean, it's very common for riders to have multiple teams that they ride with just to create more opportunities to get out and race. But it's going to be Travis Frazier taking the win out here today. It's there's no scenario that I see him getting caught. So this is an exclamation point of a win for him. Strong field, tough day, challenging course, and he's clearly the best of the best.
This is right down their alley recently too, with the way that they've been racing. Very short 1 hour racing, classic Zwift racing. We've seen them showing up week in, week out in the TTT. Then we've seen them in the Electric Spirit Co. We've seen them in all the focused races really, as well as the ZRL. Really, this is, I think, a peak time for them. You know, you start getting riding outside, and then all the racing they've been doing 3 times a week, doing some base training around that. And this is why the OMG are just at a really high level right now.
Yeah, they've learned how to, figure out who their most dangerous opposition are, how to isolate them. And this is the sprint. Pedrosa's gone early, Nathan. Diddy may come around here, or has
no, he
Pedrosa
kicks
done
again.
enough?
He kicks again. So Diddy
Double
gonna
dipper.
fade. Yeah.
Dan Pedrosa there. So the pride of Austin getting another silver medal there, but 1-2 for the team. And let's be honest. Oh my God, they killed Kenny like a runaway freight train out here today. There was no stopping them.
Nice little kick coming from Team Magnum, trying to shut it down to Pletcher here. This is for the top. This is for a top 5 spot. Pletcher's got a little bit of a gap, though. I'm not sure they're going to be able to catch him. 12 watts per kilogram coming from Namato. Flanders coming through from OMG. Is the timing good for him? The fade from Pletcher. It's right to the line. ATP, I think, snag it right there. It's going to be Magnum. Nice timing from him.
All right, so that is done and dusted out here for our A men. All of our women's categories have finished.
Just quickly jumping back to Thompson. He's going to give us another sprint look as we look to find the boys out here when it comes to the rest of the men's categories. The Bs will be finishing up pretty quickly, so it's going to be tough to jump across them. Maybe Dan Mueller will help us out, though, in a second here. Morrison, nice little kick from him, and I think he's going to get the better of it.
All right. Finish line right about there, actually. So we'll see if we can jump in and pick up some action with our other categories here. We've had good luck with that today. Our later round of broadcasts.
Yeah, and this is the
our
lead group.
Bs.
Lead group here. Coming in. Right to the line. Just catching them. And it is going to be Sid Kwai here with Pomeroy, TFC. There's a 3-second gap up to a rider just ahead. Looks like this was like a Hail Mary with Norris here. Is he going to do it? Oh, I think he gets nipped at the line, Dave. TFC, just make it happen. Norris, is he actually going to hold? He does hold off for a second, though. Oh, man. TFC, wow. What a move coming in from them.
That was a huge effort from Norris there. This is our B finish. That was I look like the top 20 spots maybe have all been decided.
I want to know Keith Norris from Dirty Rascals Grit. In the live at 26K, he was still in the pack, actually. So that means he made that attack really right around where we just jumped in with him.
He was close then. I mean, he timed that within, another 40 meters or so, and he had it.
Nice move there from.
Gotta give, in order to win, you gotta risk losing, right? And in a lot of ways, that is a win because he had the courage to go for it. That's commendable.
I love those attacks. You know me though, Dave. I'm always the Hail Mary, let's go for it. Make a break happen. Don't sit in.
Listen, man, at 12K in, you're encouraging a team to do a team time trial attack. So you tell me you love attacking. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
But hey, that's racing, isn't it? And if you never try, you never know. And I think like a lot of things in life, it's like you can just keep doing the same thing over and over and over. But is that fun for you?
Exactly. Well, affogatos are in this one, Dave.
That's fun. I'll take an avocado.
Here we go.
You're offering.
I think this is the reason. This team is the reason
why. Is this
why.
how it triggered the original affogato delivery?
It did. I believe this is the team that triggered the delivery of an affogato to my doorstep. So these guys are getting all of the hype here today. The C category for the mixed men's now in the West 1. Here we go.
They should give. So I think it's a little dumb in this day and age. You know how we've sort of gotten rid of podium girls and that we've moved on from that. And I think maybe giving alcohol out on a podium is a little bit worn out as a tradition. How about affogatos on the podium for the winner?
But then if they're
So you
allergic
get
to
up on the
nuts, you might
podium.
have a problem, right?
There's no nuts. It's coffee and ice cream.
They put a little bit of almonds over the top sometimes. I think.
Okay. Well, then, if you have a nut allergy, we'll make it almond free.
Yeah, 100%.
Doesn't that sound like a good idea? Well, I mean, get away from alcohol. Why not?
Sounds good.
That industry
you might
will be
have
fine.
you might have some
Yeah.
you might have some people in chat disagreeing with you, but I'm cool.
But I
with
might
that.
have people agreeing with me as
You
well.
might, yeah, you might as well. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Because some traditions are cool. I mean, I get that, certainly, but when you have a beanie getting hit in the eye with a cork, it makes me rethink things.
I just heard that Mog's Zwift actually crashed. Sorry to hear that, cycling with Doc.
Peter!
And Peter was
One of the
going for it.
more
He was having a
popular
really
guys.
good race, it looked like, too. So sorry to hear that he had some technical issues. Rush TV.
He's a really cool person.
Good to see you. Is that actually the rushes that are in game here, I would assume?
Cassandra Rush?
Maybe.
Crush
I
it?
wonder if she's streaming. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Here's an attack going clear. This is maybe similar to what we saw
Taylor.
from Keith Norris.
There we
As,
go.
Yeah, Taylor's gone. It's New Zealand in full effect on the front right now. That's the All Blacks there for NZ Bicycle Racing Online out of New Zealand. Oh, he's an American, though. So, not that I'm disappointed in it, but
Oh my
he
goodness!
does-
Oh, he's
Well, I
on the
thought he
attack.
was from New Zealand.
He's on the attack. Enter, bro. Oh, but he's an American.
or whatever, right? No, I'm totally
I
kidding.
love it. I love it. No, but
I
it's
love
good.
America. I'm proud to be American, but definitely I thought he was from New Zealand. That was my concern. He's not, but he's on the New Zealand. Most of the riders on NZ Pro are, to tell you the
I'm
truth.
just generally concerned at this point. I'm just all around concerned. All right, Dan.
Only team I know that stick like Swedish Zwifters. I've never seen a rider on Swedish that wasn't Swedish.
Huh? Yeah.
I know they stick to their club guidelines.
I mean, you don't get no
Must be
tutti frutti
Swedish
if
is
you're
rule one.
if you're
Yeah.
not part of the team. So enjoy
Switch
suffering. This guy obviously enjoys the suffering because boom.
I wonder if he's related to Joy Connolly.
Everyone's related
That
to Joy
didn't work
Connolly.
out well. You had to be here an hour ago to get that joke, right?
Yeah. Well, Joy Connolly is in chat probably like these guys. I mean, come
Out of their
on.
minds.
They definitely need to stop.
They definitely need sleep, I think, is the. So Affogatos finishing up. This is again, it's been a
There's someone
one
with the
of-
last name Llamas, actually, in
well.
this race.
Well, I mean that isn't. I mean, I'm trying to think of a. There's a famous.
I just think it's awesome because we have llama teams, and now we have this
Right.
guy, Henry Llamas, for NZ Bro right now, trying to chase down Cathcart. That's Kevin Cathcart off the front for Team Herd. So the llamas
wonder
that are
what
from
that
NZ Bro
double
are
L-
chasing the Herd team, actually.
I
Interesting enough.
actually think that you might pronounce this name. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I
Llamas?
think the pronounce Llamas,
Llamas.
like Juvia, rain in Spanish. Isn't that spelled with that double L as well? And it's pronounced Juvia.
Oh, might be
I
right.
have a feeling. Anyways, you know that sometimes I swing and I miss on these, but I have a feeling that might be the case. What's his nationality? American.
USA.
Bummer.
Oh, USA.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. But he's American. He also
Yeah.
rides for NZ Bro, but he's American.
What's going on with NZ Bro?
They're being taken over by the Americans. It seems like it's going to be an American team soon enough. What's
USA
going on?
Bro.
I'm going to have to ask Anna
Yeah.
Russell what the heck's going on. I mean, come on.
Well, this time zone. So if Anna Russell is up, it must be. So let's see here. In America right now, Mountain Time Zone. It's about 8:30 at night. So it's on a Tuesday. So it's Wednesday morning, I think, for Anna. I'm guessing. I'm checking.
Afternoon, I think.
Or is it afternoon?
I think afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah,
2:30 in the afternoon in
Yeah.
Wellington. Right.
Well, looking at NZ Bro Soran, who the Yamas is riding for. Yamas. There's
Was
also the
Sauron
herd.
one of the Gandalf's colleagues?
Soran was
Another wizard?
yeah, so Sauron is actually the Eye of Sauron, or Sauron is actually the title character primary antagonist in the Lord of the Rings. He runs Mordor.
Not good.
He is, he actually fell from the
He's like the Darth Vader of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so there's a whole big backstory, but I mean, yeah, Sauron is
Not a good guy.
The guy who
Right.
made the ring. So
Oh,
yeah.
that the Precious.
Yep. So
not a good guy, but
No.
a cool team name. They
Yeah,
all
cool team
use
game.
the Lord of the Rings Hobbit theme, which was all filmed down in New Zealand, which I'm sure you knew.
I mean, we could go into all of the lore if you want to, but
We don't need to. Yep. I think I'm going to speak for the
he's
audience.
essentially a fallen
Yeah.
angel. So this
Yeah.
is a team of
Oh,
fallen
okay.
angels, is what they are. So
Oh, there you go. There's always
Gar-
a backstory. There's always a backstory. No one just ends up evil, right?
yeah, it's a good one.
Something had to happen.
Garrison
Yes.
here, 3.3 watts per kilogram. He's making a good chase,
Another
actually. They're only at 1.9.
Yeah. So clearly, NZ Bro has franchised out to other nations, as this is an entirely American squad that we're looking at here. Is a Garrison,
Well, Montgomery's out of Canada. So
excuse me, North American squad. You're right. I knew when I said that I was wrong. Actually, I was only wondering how wrong I would be once those words had left my mouth. You can't unring a bell, as they say.
what I want to know is who Montgomery is, because it is a mixed team. I'm trying to figure out L Montgomery. She is hammering away. She's gonna get a top 10 here amongst the boys. Always cool to
Wow,
see when
that's-
there's mixed teams.
Not the first time today that we've seen this. A woman having a great ride in the mixed field. But it's exceptional. It's fun to see.
It's gonna be Lisa Montgomery, the Canadian on this team for Edzebro Soran. She's a level 20 Zwifter, 73 races. Been a part of racing out on Zwift for, it looks like, since 2020. Her teammate, Lamas, on the go, trying to break Cathcart. Might be doing so. 171 beats per minute. Looks like Cathcart's got nothing left in the tank, and there we
Yeah.
go. Henry makes it happen. Nice kick. Garrison for third, it looks like. And that's going to be the situation for the D category. Nice job to everybody in the D category. And to Enzebro Soran, maybe they'll bring back some points. We'll have to wait and see here in just a moment. The ladies are all finished up. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this played out for the team rankings. This will give us an idea of how things go for the weekend. And it will be, look at how close this was. Dutch Diesel was way ahead prior to that finish, Dave. And they brought it back. ATP Racing, they end up winning as a team. Diesel end up in second at 222. That is not going to affect the qualifying. It is the top three as it splits in half that will go through. Cadence, even with three riders, though, Dave, as I said earlier, so close. If they could have just put one more rider, a couple more places up, they would have made it into the cup. They are going to have to settle for the Shield bracket. Did I lose you there, Dave?
Is you were talking about how every point matters, Nathan, and clearly this is the case in point here. That's one finishing position at the finish, or a slightly better bonus sprint that separates ATP Racing Vespid from Dutch Diesel Cycling. But at the end of the day, doesn't really matter all that much, as both teams are going to advance into the top of the table, the top group. Still, fun racing. for sure today in all of our different categories. So that's the Bs we're looking at with ATP Racing Investment taking the win there. West Coast Coalition in the Cs just betters the C2 edition of the same team. So their sister team ends up in second. And again, very, very close between Herd of Misfit Meerkats and WCC2. It's Coalition Synthesis in at fourth. Fearless fifth. Herd of Mischievous Meerkats in sixth. And looks like Betty Squad was unable to garner any points out here today. So that's our women in WTRL's racing semifinal points. Women's America's Cup West 1.
Interesting for Saturday, Dave. West Coast. Oh, people are still finishing. Did not realize. Hey, is that what's going on here? Or
so
we just
really,
had points
what
shift.
happens with Fearless and Coalition Synthesis? That's the most interesting. Like, can the Fearless find some more points? I feel like I'm an American campaign calling.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Georgia.
to wait. I'm not gonna.
I just
I'm
need
gonna
2
leave
more
this alone.
votes.
I didn't realize. I thought they had all finished, but now the points are being distributed differently. I'm gonna leave that alone, everyone. You'll have to go to WTRL.racing because we do not want to call anything incorrectly. It is 9:35 at night, Dave, and we have been live broadcasting on and off since 4:15 this morning. So I'm going to say it was a good day of broadcasting. Thanks everybody for tuning in here on ZCL. It was really cool to have Greg and Anna on. Definitely something we want to do some more of. WTRL team time trial coming at us on Thursday. Be on the watch out for that. Anna will be back with us as well as special guest. There's a couple of them we have in the queue. So we'll be looking to announce that tomorrow. And Dave, Saturday, it's going to be hot racing. It's going to be the one thing I would say that we look forward to is now instead of having the very regional semifinals, it's all coming together. We're going to find out the top teams in the world.
Yeah, the teams today had a chance to punch their ticket into the main event, and this everybody else gets to race as well. So, yeah, very, very cool. Great day of racing. Thanks, Nathan. We'll see everybody on Thursday.
See you later, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks to all the racers. Right on.
Let them see your perfect